Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Away from the lights, away from the sound. Make a chat for the peace and dig his burial mound. Dig his burial mound. Dig it for your life, dig it to the death. Dig for salvation to your very last breath. Dig for protection, dig for release. Dig for resurrection and dig for peace. The old ones have seen to walk. When you dream of a laser that sears your soul, slices like a razor and burns like a coal. You can bet you'll forget when the rock starts to roll, and the last meets the least by the watering hole. Dig it down deep. Dig it out wide, dig it for pleasure, and dig it for pride. Dig it for treasure, and dig it for stones. Dig it for the metal, and dig it for the gold. Dig it down, dig it down, dig it down, dig it down, dig it
Flipping it. Can you turn the fighters up?
Shut the phone in.
Shut the phone in.
Morning.
The old ones have seen to walk. The old ones have seen to walk.
They cancelled Brexit. Are you mad?
Dig it down deep, dig it out wide. Dig it for pleasure and dig it for pride. Dig it for treasure, dig it for stones. Dig it for the metal and dig it for the bones. Dig it for your life, dig it to the death. Dig for salvation till your very last breath. Dig it for protection and dig for release. Dig for resurrection and dig for peace. The old ones
Here we go.
have seen to walk.
Wake up, cats.
The old ones
Hello, crazy cats and kittens.
seem to
You can shove your bank holiday right up your jacksie. Yeah, that's right. We're opening with a song from The Who live in 1989. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. My name is Iain Lee. Who the hell are you, lady, and how long is the delay today?
Hello, I'm Carol Baskin.
4 seconds. 4
It's
seconds.
really long.
That's the delay we're working. That's the delay. That's the delay that we are working on, and I left a pause in there. Thank God you didn't feel it. Mustn't stop talking till I finished.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, well, I'd finish. If there's a gap, you grab it. That means, if there's a gap, that means I have made a mistake as a professional broadcaster and I've left a space for you to crawl inside. And yeah, that's right. I said crawl inside because you're a slug, you're a maggot, you're a worm. 0344499 1000. I hadn't stopped.
Wow.
Oh,
Maybe I
Okay,
don't
and
wanna
then you
call
have to say
today.
something a little bit more than that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Katherine to connect again, because that delay is like way beyond. So if we can put Katherine's fader down, Sam, and if we can just cut her off and make a half-hearted, I'm going to say a half-hearted, loose attempt to try and reconnect her. She doesn't reconnect. What am I gonna tell you? It's bank holiday. I forgot it was bank holiday. We never really get many phone calls, but let's just see what happens. Let's take some calls straight to air. Line 1, you're on the wireless. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, hello, line 1.
Hello there, my name is John King. I'm phoning from Newcastle. I'm listening to your great show, as I always do. I'm in bed.
I bet you're not. I bet you're listening to James's show. But carry on.
I've been listening to that fantastic song. I didn't catch the name by the young man whose father's producing him. Brilliant song.
That was the show before us, I'm afraid, John. That wasn't that as I suspected. Gosh, I didn't realise the delay was 10 minutes.
Have I missed the programme? Sorry.
You've missed. That's okay, John. You've missed it. That was James Whale's show. I wasn't listening because, if I'm honest, the cat, one of my cats has taken a very important bolt that I need for a microphone.
I'm sorry. I do beg your pardon, sir. Sorry.
That's all right.
But you know one thing, though, just if you pass it on to you guys, I'm just speaking to you personally then.
I won't pass it on.
That young man whose father produces him. Hello?
Carry on, John.
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch the young man's name, but it was a superb song. And all I phoned up for, I just speak to you personally, sir, right?
Matter.
So much like what the Cosmic Rough Riders are doing now. So much like the Beach Boys did.
With respect. You're talking to me about a guest that was on another show that I didn't listen to because I was trying to find a nut that one of my cats has knocked away.
I'm sorry.
And really
Didn't
sound anything like the Beach Boys, if I'm completely honest. It sounded like a very watered-down XTC. But did you like the song that I played at the start of the
XTC is one of my favourite bands, but I just got that nice Cosmic Rough Riders feel in Tama, the Impala,
yes.
Tama Impala.
Just say yes and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm sorry to bother.
That's okay. He called me Mathser, and I like that. Kath, I'm going to finish. When I say speak, I want you to speak, and I'm going to count the delay. Speak.
Okay. Yes, hello, I'm on the microphone now.
We're down to 2.5 seconds. That!
Oh, really?
That I can work with. I can work with 2.5 second delay. I can work with that because, hey man, when I was stoned, that's what I was dealing with all the bloody time. You know what I mean, man? Woo, yeah, let's get high. I have been using so much Tiger Balm over the weekend that it has no effect on me. And like a heroin addict who initially shoots up in the arms, then the legs, then in between the toes, I've followed that trajectory. And now Tiger Balm only has an effect if I put it on my genitals. So that's where I am.
It's a productive weekend then.
What's been the highlight of your day? Because the highlight of mine is really poor. What's been the highlight of your day? 0344 499 1000. Kath, you go first.
Listening to you shriek at that fella.
Okay. The highlight of my day was I've been back to bed twice today, and the highlight was the second time I was in bed, and I was just kind of I twisted my legs a bit, and I thought, oh, I'm in a very similar position to the position I would be in at the end of a session with an osteopath. I wonder if with a little bit of manipulation, can I click my own spine? So, with one arm, I grabbed the bedside table and pulled my upper body part to the left. With the other arm, I push my knees down to the right, and my God, sing hosannas, hallelujah! A crack ran out all through Aylesbury, ricocheting up my spine. That was the highlight of my day. I cracked my own back. Flippin' heck, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm bored out of my mind. I am bored out of my mind.
I'm so bored out of my mind. I got nothing that I want to do. I started watching stand-up specials on Netflix, and then I realized I hate stand-up, so I went back to bed twice today. Then I sat up and listened to some music and pottered around on the internet. God, please let this end. Let's go to, he was only banned for a week for being a bell. Let's go to Alan.
I would like to gracefully apologise to you, to Katherine, and the Talk Radio listeners for my conduct last Wednesday.
If only you knew what you were apologising for.
For bad-mouthing our glorious leader, Mr. Boris Johnson.
Wasn't quite the thing. Anyway, let's not dwell on that, you right-wing scumbag. What have you got for us tonight, Alan?
I want to talk about Tim Taylor.
Oh, Tim Brooke Taylor. We're gonna see a lot of these. Tim Brooke Taylor, from one of the goodies, of course, passed away at the weekend. Didn't get a mention.
And me and my girl.
On any of the didn't get a mention on. Well, we'll talk about you and your girlfriend dying as well in a minute. But Tim Brooke Taylor didn't get a mention on any of the major news outlets. It was all Sterling Moss. Now, of course, Sterling Moss, of course, should have been acknowledged. But what would it have hurt really to have put Tim Brooke Taylor in there? The goodies, the Monty Python for kids? No, of course not. That man was a legend. We tried to get him on the show once, and I don't think it happened for whatever reason. And he passed away, and it's all because of this crappy virus that's going around, and we're going to see a bit more of that, I'm afraid. Very, very sad.
And it seemed ironic that he was on ITV on one of his films that was on the same day.
I don't know if that's irony. I think that's coincidence. Had he been on a show, a movie called I Can Beat a Virus, the same day, that might have been. I guess that would be closer to irony. But no, he was in Willy Wonka. Who was he the dad of in Willy Wonka?
No, he played the professor that tried to use the computer to cheat to try and find the golden ticket.
Yes, that's who he was. It was Roy Kinnear. It was the dad of Violet Beauregard.
No,
Veruca Salt. There we go. I have seen that film. Of course, the only thing I remember from that film is the terrifying bit where you see a chicken having its head chopped off.
I thought that was the golden eggs.
No, when they go on that spooky boat at the end.
Yeah, that bit is flipping horrible.
Where you want to say, stop the boat.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Be quick on those faders today, Sam, because my tolerance level... I've just been called out for being a transphobe online, and I'm thinking, dear... Oh, don't you support the LGBT community? If only you knew. 0344 499 1000. What has been the highlight of your day? Kath's was hearing me scream. Mine was clicking my back. I mean, the standards, that we've set the bar very, very low. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Good evening, Ben. Happy Monday to you. Jeez.
Happy Monday to you both, too. First time caller. I've got
Are you a long-time listener?
I'm a long-time listener. About 2 years.
Bell, sir. Go on.
Ring that bell.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes.
Right, I've got a wah for you. I know it was last week's thing, but I've found a wah over the weekend.
To be honest, Ben, time has become so elastic during this lockdown. It feels to me like we're on the same show as Wah Polka. So it might have been 20 minutes ago. It might have been 20 years ago. Who knows? Let's have it.
Right, well, the song by Dion and the Belmonts, I Wonder Why, I think it's called, about 58 seconds in there. There's about four of them.
I know exactly where you're going. 58 seconds. By the way, that really, really helps us on Wire Poker if you know the exact timing.
Is it called Runaway, that song?
No,
it's called
that
I Wonder.
I Wonder Why, I think it is.
Here we go. We're going to go to 58 seconds. Here we go. We're going to go to 48 seconds. We get a nice little run up. Here we go. Thank you very much indeed. That's Ben. It's your first call, but boy, oh boy, you really waited until you had the goods, the material, indeed the moolah to pay your way to the top of the table. Congratulazioni, Ben.
Thanks a lot, Ian. Thanks very much. Proud of myself.
Peace. Wash. Have you got anything else before I give you a message of hope?
No, that's all I wanted to ring for.
Wash your hands, stay at home, and please, for the love of everything that's holy, Ben, don't get ill. Do you understand me, my friend?
I'm listening. All the best to you all.
What? To my what?
Ta-da.
Oh, did he say you all? I thought he said to your. That confused me. Thank you. Well, it's none of his business. Let's go to Sean. Good evening, Sean.
Hello, Ian.
Yeah?
It was very, very funny when you were arguing about the vaping. Remember?
When I did with the whom now?
When you were arguing about the vaping and it was funny.
Yes, it was funny. It was good. It was good and it was funny. How are you doing, Sean?
Fine.
Good, man. Good. How are you finding lockdown? Are you obeying the rules and not leaving your house?
I'm not leaving my house.
Good. What has been the highlight of your day? Catherine's was hearing me scream and mine was clicking my back. Very low standards. What's been the highlight of your day?
Highlight of the day. A highlight of the day was when I was playing football.
Beautiful. Sean, thank you very much indeed. Stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands. Crying out loud. Catherine, stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands. That's my mantra.
Keep your hands off your face.
The hand washing has slowed down a bit because I'm not going out. So if you don't, unless COVID-19 is somewhere breeding in my house, I wash them when I get a letter. I wash the letter. I wipe the letter down with a disinfectant wipe, and then or a package, and then I get it out and I read it, and I might throw it in the bin. I wipe if it's an item from Amazon, then I will wipe the item down, and then I wash my hands, and then I wash the bit of the kitchen table where the thing has been, and this is what we've become in 2020. I can't take it anymore. A little bit stir crazy.
Yeah, me too.
This delay is redonkulous. So what I'm going to do?
Let me go and come back again.
No. I think it might be me. So I'm going to go and come back again. Katherine, do you have a pen and paper? Or can you remember names? I can get one. Well, can you remember two names? All right. Remember the names Dean and Sonia. Dean and Sonia. What names have you got to remember?
Dean and Sonia.
Sam, cut me off. I'm good.
And just like that, he was gone. Now, take it that while he's gone, I've got to speak to either Dean or Sonia. So, let's go, Sonia. Hey, Sonia.
Hi, Katherine. How are you?
How are you doing? Bored. I'm really bored. Bored.
I'm worse than bored.
To the point. Oh man, bored to the point of feeling frustrated today and yesterday. Awful. What do we do about it?
I live a life like that, Katherine. I'm 81. I'm young 81, but I put so much weight on, not just with this corona thing, but because I just keep myself isolated. I moved down to Bushy 6 years ago, and I don't really go out at all. So it was nice for me in a way.
Yeah.
But I want to know, it's not possible for me to catch it from I had carers come in. I've got a bad leg and I've got fibromyalgia, which Iain knows about because a friend of his has got it, apparently. And I can't catch it from just being in, and I have a cleaner come. You know, I can't catch it from that, can I?
Right. So is the cleaner still coming?
Yeah, she's very good because she works for herself. She's Romanian, lived here a long time, and the people have told her not to come. But I still want her. I need her.
Yeah. Is she wearing gloves?
She wears gloves, and she wears a mask like I've got from one of the carers. That are bits of paper, really.
May I chip in here?
Please do.
Hi, Ian.
Hiya. Cancel your cleaner.
Why?
Because it's not safe. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this to worry you. I'm not saying this to scare you. The chances of you getting it are very, very slim. But having someone come into your house is not safe, and I would cancel it. Just for the next few weeks, I would cancel it.
But I can't cope without her because she goes shopping for me.
Well, then, is there a way? Is there a way? Well, if you can't cope, you can't cope, and then you'll have to have her in. But yes, having her come in will present a slight increase in risk of the virus entering your home.
Really?
And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm not. I'm being. I'm being completely honest, and the chances are slim. But having someone come into your house, like I just said, Sonia, if I get a letter or a parcel, I'm wiping the parcel down before I open it, and then I'm wiping the thing down that is in the parcel. I would suggest you cancel it and see if there's any way that she could leave the shopping on your doorstep, and you then collect the shopping and then wipe it down.
Yeah, well, she collects it and puts it away for me. Because I've got this disability.
Here's the thing. I cannot. This virus is really lousy, right?
Horrible.
And what makes it, and I'm choosing this carefully because I don't want to panic you, right? This isn't what we do. I'm panicking
anyway. Don't worry.
I know you are. All right, in that case, boo. No, this what makes this virus so different from the flu and from swine flu and SARS and all the other things we've had is it's how easy it is to transmit and how well it survives on surfaces. And at the moment, the current thinking is if I coughed into my hand and I had it, and then I touched the table with the hand I just coughed in, the germs would live on that table for 3 days. That's the thinking that's the thinking at the moment. That table would become a risk for about 3 days. And so she may be wearing a mask, she may be doing all of these wonderful, wonderful things that are putting as many barriers in as possible. Yeah. But even if she's got the bus and the person who sat in the seat before her had it, she might carry it, and she might then put it on your margarine, your tub of margarine, and it really is, you are increasing the risk.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that information. The other thing is, last week I couldn't get hold of you because I was in a bad state. You say you wake up with a knot in your stomach.
Yep.
Well, I get that knot and it turns into anxiety, and I think, oh my God, I'm in a terrible state, and I reach for diazepam that I'm not addicted to. I have had them for 40 years. I'm definitely not addicted, but they do help. Now, why won't my doctor give me more than I normally have?
Because, well, hang on a minute.
Because you mentioned last week about you got something from not eBay. What was the word you said?
I got some Viagra from a hooky Chinese website. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it wasn't that, no.
I did, but no.
I don't think you need it anyway. No, it's something you said, not eBay. You got it from the internet. You got something you mentioned.
I don't remember. But no, don't buy drugs from the internet because you don't know if they're real or not. No. Don't buy drugs from the internet because you don't know if they're real or not. I don't know that particular drug that you're referring to, but I would imagine that if you had too many in the house, there are a lot of those drugs that end in PANs, that if you take like a couple more than you should, you start to forget how many you've taken, and you think, I've only had 2, when actually you might have had 6. So you go, I can have another 2 more, and that goes on, and people die that way. This is a jolly phone call, Sonia. I've told you 2 ways that you might possibly die.
I'm so sorry. At least you make me feel happy when I hear your lovely voice.
You need to speak to your wonderful granddaughter who messaged me a few weeks ago, or someone.
Carly, yeah.
And you need to find, there will be a local, I don't know what it is, and I can't find it, but she will be able to, because it'll probably take a little bit of digging around on the internet.
Yeah.
She will be able to find you a service in your area that goes and picks up shopping for people.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I know about that, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to do something like that. I really would suggest let the house go dusty for a couple of months. Let it go dusty for a couple of months.
I'm very untidy, very untidy.
They don't matter.
I am in bed most of the time.
Dirty cow. Sorry?
I am.
Yes.
You're right. I have to push myself to shower.
Okay, all right.
I don't like it.
Sonia, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Okay. Everyone who's calling me out because I said germs. COVID-19 is... What germs? COVID-19 is virus, not germs. Get stuffed. What is this? Pick on the hero. I saved 2 guys' lives. You want to pick on me now? I'll give you a fight. Oh, I'll give you a fight like nobody's business. Trust me, I sound upbeat and chipper, but the highlight of my day was clicking my back. Katherine, I'm going to say speak. When I say speak, I want you to speak. I'm going to count the delay. Speak.
1, 2,
3 seconds. All
4,
right, it's
5.
worse. Okay, we're in.
No, you're joking.
It's 3 seconds. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Someone's come along and it's burst my bubble.
I'm gonna go and come back.
Basically, guys, what's happening is Katherine and I have both become addicted to cocaine, and we can't do more than 5 minutes of broadcasting without nipping off to the bogs for a cheeky line. That's right, isn't it, Kath?
God, no. I've got no excuse. I'm just bored. Right, I'm going to go and come back.
Let's go to Rena. Good evening, Rena. Tina Arena in the arena.
Oh, very funny. You're very quick.
Thank you. It was my funniest line ever. Tina Arena in the arena. Yes.
No, just that lady you were speaking to just there. I have my carers come in 3 days a week.
Yep.
Got bad arthritis in my spine and I'm practically immobile. But they don't wear masks. They don't masks.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, would I be better suspending the carers? But then I worry about how am I going to cope.
What can without being too personal, Rena, and bearing in mind, listen, I ain't a doctor and I'm not a counsellor or anything like that, so I can only kind of give you my advice. What my personal opinion, what are the carers doing for you when they come in?
Well, they help me shower. They change my bed. They put my washing on, hang it up. Because with the state my back's in, I just can't do these things.
Yeah.
And I did wonder, I have a daughter, and we were discussing it and wondering if Jackie moved in with me, so it's only the one person. Would that be a better idea
that
than
would
having...
be better. That would be significantly better. Listen, if people need carers, right, to go in and feed them and change them and help them get, do all those stuff, don't cancel your carers. I'm not telling anyone to cancel your carers. If you can't cope without people coming in to help, and when I say cope, I mean, be hygienic and be well fed and be clean, right? If you can't cope without the carers coming in, then you need to have people coming in, all right? Yes, the risk is increased slightly, but I bet the carers will be doing everything they can. However, Rena, if you can get rid of the carers and your daughter can and is willing to move in for a few weeks, then that will significantly lower your risk.
Yeah, just like the carers, because obviously I'm not the only help when they come to.
Nope.
But would my daughter be able still to go out and get my little bit of shopping and things like that?
Yeah, of course she would, as long as when she came in, not everyone's doing this. I am choosing to do this because I think this is sensible, but some people have kind of laughed at me for doing it. But what I would suggest is when she comes in, she washes down the bag. I throw the plastic bags away now when I've been shopping. She wipes down the stuff with with a disinfectant wipe, antiseptic wipe, before putting it in the fridge and in the cupboards. And then she washes her hand. As long as she washes her hand and washes everything she brings into the house, then you're fine.
Yeah, well, she is getting me a mother's bits of shopping.
Yeah.
And what she is doing. I stay in my bedroom. She goes into the kitchen and then washes down all the stuff that she's bought for me before she puts it away. Anyway, she's doing that. But I thought maybe just having her staying, so it's one person, because the days that the carers come in, it's not like the same carer every day.
Yeah.
It's different carers, so obviously they've been going around a whole lot of different houses.
Yeah. It's listen, odds are you're going to be all right, because I'm sure these carers are excellent. I'm sure they've got hand gels and they're washing their hands and they're doing everything that they can. But it's a simple fact. Yeah. The less people you have coming in and out of your home, the less chance there is of it being brought into the home. It's just simple maths. Rena, listen, let us know how it goes. 0344 499 1000. I'm happy to do this if this is what people want. I tell you what, Frankie, why don't you give me a call? The conspiracy theorists, the anti-vaxxers are doubling down because, but get this, Katherine, did you see this? Bizarrely, they have an ally in Eamon Holmes. Have you seen this?
I read some bits on Twitter and I saw a very interesting clip.
Oh, God.
Where he was on ITV talking about the mainstream media and state narratives. Is that right?
Oh, God, Eamon. Geez, man, I love Eamon Holmes. He's been a really nice guy to me, but you can't go around, hinting that there might even be some connection between COVID-19 and 5G. You can't, because that's scaring people. And then you've got people like Frankie. I bet if I looked on Frankie's feed, I bet it would all be about Chinese laboratories and 5G and stuff like that. Frankie says, you need to do some alternative research on this virus. You're neurotic and scaring people that are just as gullible as you, but way more vulnerable than you'll ever be. Grow up, man. Au contraire, Frankie, I'm giving out facts, mate. Let's have a little look at Frankie Shea's Twitter feed. Question everything is his Twitter headline. Let's have it's all about releasing Julian Assange.
Have you seen the bit where he's kind of goading the central community team, saying, because they're talking about don't go for a picnic even in rural areas, and then Frankie says, are you kidding? Was going for a walk with the kids, but making sandwiches now and going for a picnic with them instead.
Oh,
social distancing will apply. Absolute tools. Yeah, it's just contrary.
Frankie, you're a prick. If you want to give us a call, do. I'm going to block you because I'm going to block you because I don't want you in my timeline. You're a nasty piece of work. But if you want to give us a call, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call. Also, Frankie, I was streaming last week, and there's a really nice guy, Lance. You aware of Lance? Katherine, I'll text you who he you know Lance, right? And I was streaming and Lance said something. Said, "Oh, what's happened, mate? Have I missed something?" And I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. His father-in-law passed away because of this, because of COVID-19, and they can't go to the funeral. This is real, man. This is real. Jesus, why am I even saying this? Because some people in the media, and I'm treading so carefully, like to perpetuate the myth that this isn't as bad as we are being told it is. All right? Jeez, man, this is supposed to be a fun, upbeat show, and I'm arguing with people who want me to do alternative research. Sweet baby.
What, from the scientists?
Oh, God.
Been doing it for years.
Okay. I'm just thinking for a second. Let me just think for a second. Sam, I'm going to think for a second. Go to the ads, please.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Let's go to Heather, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. Hello, Heather.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm all right, Heather. What have you got for us, please?
Good. Okay, what I got for you is I stalked your podcast the other day, and I think I saw one of your cats who's a tabby.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, okay, stay with it. Did you know that tabby cats have got a M on their forehead?
Yes, I did.
Oh, God. Thought it was going to be enlightening then.
It's supposed to be Mohammed, or maybe it's Mary, but yes, it is an M.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, that is the highlight of my day. That's just...
Oh, no! Oh, no! I've ruined the highlight.
You've killed it.
Oh, God. All right. Tell me as though I didn't know, and I won't know.
Oh, no. Well, I have nothing else to say to you except your first caller was so hilarious, I had to scoot from my bed to the living room to get my phone to call you. And,
do you not sleep with your phone in your bedroom?
No, I don't. No, because it goes and pings off in the night, doesn't it? Doesn't it irritate?
Well, no, you can put it on mute. You can put it on mute.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those. I have to hand it to my son who does all the wizardy bits and hands it back, yeah.
Oh, good for you, Heather. All right, listen, thank you for that. I'm sorry I stole your M Thunder, but thank you. Sam, could you do me a favour? We got a load of calls lined up there. Could you say thanks, but maybe later on, if you don't mind? Let's just put the calls. So let's park the calls to one side, shall we, for a little bit, Katherine Boyle, and let's you and I chat, bearing in mind that there is a huge delay.
Is it still bad then?
It's doable. How are you doing? We didn't really get a chance to speak to you over the weekend. Not spoke to you all day because I think we were both feeling a little bit blue today. How are you?
Yeah, blue. But I think I am bored and hormonal, and that's never a good combo. Yesterday I felt really anxious. I haven't felt like that for a few years. I went through a spate of really bad anxiety about 3 years ago and lost a lot of weight, and I haven't felt that feeling for some time. And that was it yesterday. I was thinking, this is it. This is what it felt like. Right up in my chest. It felt like my stomach was in my chest all day. And then I kind of just kept trying to distract myself, little bits and bobs, and then I'd find it rising again, and then try and find something else to do. But it's crummy, isn't it? It's a horrible situation.
Sorry, we'll go back to the context and the content in a minute. But you said something that was grammatically incorrect, and I just wondered if I could pick you up on that, please, as it brings me so much pleasure.
Go on.
You said bits and bobs, and there's no such phrase as bits and bobs.
Oh. Well, thank you for pulling me up about that, and I'm bearing my soul.
Would you like to correct it? Do you know what the correction is? Probably don't, do you?
Nah, I think people will forgive me.
You don't know?
I was holding forth.
You don't know what the correction is, do you?
Bibs and bobs, apparently.
Bibs and bobs. Here's the thing, right? We're here to educate, and we'll educate old women on carers and the virus and stuff. But also, if we don't look after the small things, then the big things will crumble around us. If you say bits and bobs instead of bibs and bobs, then we might die of COVID-19.
No one will have understood.
You got it correct. So, bibs and bobs. And could you write that down for me, please? That's your first one tonight.
There it is.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. I could hear that. So that's
written down.
So that's good. Thank you very much. Let's go through. Okay, I've got some topics that I've written down throughout the day. Okay, so maybe you and I could workshop these, and we can go through these and see how we get on. Right. First one is the Americans. When they're talking about a buoy, as in a floating buoy in the sea, they call it a buoy.
Yeah, a buoy. Yeah, how funny.
Okay, I was hoping that would promote a little debate.
They also say vehicle, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They also say white.
White.
Here
we go. Do I write those down?
You don't need to write those down because I'm not correcting you. Those you only need to write down the things
things I need to work on.
I'm correcting. So that's a shame. I thought boy and buoy would give us a good 20 minutes argument, and then we could have like a phone in on it. But no. Okay, that's done. All right,
go on.
I have been. Okay, here's one. I have a rash.
Where is it? This time
it's on my I got sunburn over the last few days. I was in the garden and I didn't have any sun cream, and body, and I got sunburn. But now I noticed. Please let me finish, because
Tell me where it is.
It's on my Bullwinkle. No, it's not. It's on my knees. It's on my forearms, and it's on the top of my feet. It's like a red rash. I thought it was fleas, but it's not itchy, and flea bites are kind of closer together. Trust me, I did a lot of Googling this weekend on rashes, causes of, and flea bites are generally a lot closer together. It's a mystery, Kath. I've got a mystery rash, and I don't know what it is. Is this it? Have I got coronavirus?
Could it be heat rash? Were you hot? Are you hot today?
I was hot. I was very hot yesterday, and it was there a lot. I was cooler today, and it was not there as much, but it's still there.
All right, sit down, take your coat off, and come into my examination room. Is this rash located in clusters on your lower legs and feet?
Well, it's like on my. I've told you exactly.
But let me just go through my list. Is it an itchy red bump? Is it surrounded by some sort of little halo?
What?
Redness.
No, it's a red rash.
All right, it's not fleas.
Okay. I said that.
It's not that. It's not that. Ringworm. No, it's not a ringworm. It's not that. I'm just looking at some very sore people. It's not that. It's not that.
No.
Diaper rash? Could it be diaper rash?
Could be. It's one of the scenes I'm into.
Okay.
I don't get that. I do not get. Well, I get where it comes from, because everything sexual can be traced back to pretty much the first 4 or 5 years of your life. If you're a boob man, it's to do with breastfeeding. Generalizations. If it can all be. If you.
Yeah, but there's boob men and boob men, aren't there? I mean.
Well, yeah. But if you're into spanking, you probably got slapped as a. There's all these different things, right? The first 5 years, and then a little bit into it, kind of goes off a little bit into early adolescence. So I get psychologically, I get how men, and it's primarily men, can be into that whole nappy thing, and it's like soiling. Oh God, soiling their nappies, and mummy changing their nappy and all of that. I can get it. It's submission. It's lack of responsibility and all of that.
Extreme submission, right?
Yeah. And they're quite often men in power that do that. But Jesus, that's and I don't want to judge anyone's sexual proclivities, all right? But that is messed up, right? Isn't it? That is messed. That is messed right up.
I think I could be understanding about a partner's kinks. I could be understanding about most things, but that one, I'm not getting the wet wipes out. That's not a thing we're going to be doing.
No. It's a strange old one, that, and also I guess it kind of makes sense. I've got because you're not going to say to your wife, I like wearing nappies and peeing in them, and you telling me off. So that would be why men go off and pay for that kind of stuff, because they're okay. Hey, listen, some men have difficulty telling their wives they like, a little bit of leather or something. So telling them they like peeing in their pants and being cleaned up, that's why they pay for it, isn't it? And that's why I make such a lot of money.
I guess. Also, the extra lifting work, if you're going to do the double nappy technique where you put the clean one underneath and then you lift the legs and quickly scoot it out, and then it's difficult with a fully grown man, I would imagine.
Would you sing the song if you're doing it to a fully grown man?
The Peppa Pig song?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Well, okay. So this is toilet training though. So it's not nappy.
This is what you sing to your girls.
Have you finished? Yeah. So you have to hear the universal cry from the bathroom. I finished. You go in.
Yeah.
And you go in and then you sing. Bend over, let me wipe your bum. I'm only doing this 'cause I am your mum. I mean, some people would like that.
Yeah.
It could be shingles. Could it be shingles?
It's not shingles. It's not shingles. Because shingles is painful, man. Shingles is bigger. These are tiny. It could be scabies. Definitely. I had the boys here for the last 2 weeks. It could definitely be scabies. I have found in my later years, I keep forgetting how old I am. Do you keep forgetting what day it is? Time is so elastic.
Yeah.
It really is. It's all over the shop, right? It's Monday. It's a bank holiday. It's Monday. It's Easter Monday. But beyond, and I only know that because we have to do this.
Yeah. I think it's probably quite healthy to forget what day it is, because it's letting go. We've got to let go. We are not in control of this anymore. So, good if you don't know what day it is. Worst thing is if you're marking the days off on the wall, as I've been tempted to do, like a tally chart.
I had the boys at the weekend, and my youngest said, "Daddy, are you doing the show tonight?" And I had to go, oh, that's a good question. No, I don't think I am doing the show tonight. And that was it. You know, I'm not really. No, I'm not doing the show tonight. That was because I don't know what's going on, and because I don't really. How much has TV changed? Because I've not even turned the television on. I turned it on briefly to watch. I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right? And I'm now halfway through season 3, and I'm kind of immune to it. But I'm glad I watched it. Episode 9 of season 3, or episode 8. I glanced up as they're just playing constantly now on the loop, and it's directed by Tristram Shapiro, who's an English director who directed anybody. That's right, the sitcom I was in, The Persuasionists. So he's over in America directing Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community, and I'm here reminiscing about when I used to know him. And I watched it, and we had a big argument with one of the callers last week about who was the hottest in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I got it wrong. The hottest is a character called Linetti, who is played by Chelsea. I think her name is Chelsea Peretti.
Okay. And by hottest, you mean the best cop, right?
She's not a cop. She's just hot.
Oh.
And so I thought, she's just hot. She's just hot. And she's very, very funny. No, that was it. She's very, very funny. She's very funny. She's easily the funniest character in the show, and the hottest. And her stand-up special was on Netflix. I thought, I'll watch a little bit of that because she's so was it funny?
Funny.
And funny. And Google her. You'll recognise her.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I'll send you a picture.
No, that's fine.
That's okay. I don't mind helping. I'm
glad she's good at her job. I'm really glad.
She's great. She's great at her job, actually.
Okay.
Katherine. She's one of the best at her job. I'm going to send you. Let me send you a gift.
No, you don't need to.
Chelsea.
I don't click on links.
No, it won't be a link. It's going to be.
Okay, I don't open your DMs.
Yes, you do. She has a dance troupe in there called Floorgasm. You'd like her. She reminds me of you, right? In that she's good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
Let me send you.
I'm still not opening it. Don't bother.
Oh, okie dokie. I've sent it to you. There we go.
I'm busy. I'm working.
But I watched. You're not busy. Yes, you're working. Oh, yes, you're working. But you're not busy. None of us are busy. And I started watching her stand-up special, and it was chucklesome. But I was just reminded I really don't like stand-up as the very few. Stuart Lee gets me, but someone standing there. I know you've looked at it because the blue ticks have gone off on WhatsApp. I win. But she reminds me of you, I think. But stand-up is really. Is a tedious old thing, isn't it?
I quite like it. When did I've seen a few. Oh, I tell you who I do like. The guy from the Sack Lunch Bunch. I've seen a couple of his stand-up specials on Netflix.
Yeah. John... Mazzetti. John... Mercurial. John...
Mulaney.
Mulaney.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, John
I like him.
Mulaney. funny.
But I've started a number of those and gone, no, nah, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. Let me just hang on. I just want to block Peter Dylan Trenchard on Twitter because he's been a bell. But yeah,
Hey.
so he is. He's been a knob, blocked and reported. But so I started watching that. But then I just 20 minutes into, I thought, nah. And then I watched a bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just thought, nah. So I've gone back. This is bad. I've gone back to bed twice today. Twice. Once because I got up with the kids and then their mum came and collected them at 9:30. So I went back to bed until about 12:30. Then I got up. That's when I tried to watch some TV and it wasn't working. Then I had a little Skype therapy session 1 till 2. And then I sort of pottered around and I thought, I'm going to go back to bed for the second time. And I did. And then I stayed in bed until about 6.
It's allowed. If I didn't have kids, if I didn't have, to get up and do things, I would sleep more, definitely. And you've had the kids this weekend, right?
I've had them for the last 2 weeks, pretty much, yeah.
Well, exhausting. Go to bed when you can. Why not?
Okay. All right.
It's allowed.
All right. Okay.
In fact,
it
it's
is
ordered.
allowed.
Go to bed.
Oh, man, I wish I could go to bed now. It is allowed. And these are very, very strange times that we are living in, and I don't know. I felt just really low, up and down. I don't want to make this a pity party, guys. And I'm aware that I'm working and I'm earning and I've got a few quid, and I'm lucky enough that I had the kids and they come and go between houses. That's great, and I'm lucky enough. I'm blessed. I've got a garden and all of this kind of stuff, but I'm still allowed to feel SH1T. And it's been like that the last couple of days. And anyway, but that's where we are. I'm not going to give out the number because if it's all right with you, Kath, I'd like to just chat to you a little bit more. Is that okay?
That's fine by me. Yeah, I'm a very interesting person.
03. No, I'm not giving out the number. That's an old habit. That's what we call a riff, when you can't think of anything to say, so you kind of dip into giving out the website or the phone number. So I won't. It'll just be me and Kath having a chat. If that's all right, dear listener, if you don't fancy that, you can switch off. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
can do it right now, please. Please.
One-way ticket, take me anywhere. North bound, southbound, I don't even care. I know the grass is
do, wouldn't it? That's a song, isn't it? Hey. Good evening, dear listener. The late night alternative. My name is Iain Lee. Who are you, lady?
I am Katherine Boyle.
There we go. And I don't call in for a bit. Maybe we'll do
That
some
delay
call straight to air a little bit later on. But don't call in. You know, I just want to have a chat. I don't know. There's been so many bell cheeses on Twitter, and I'm really good now. I'm so good at generally not engaging, or if I do engage, like moments later going, forget it, and then going back and deleting it and just blocking them. And there was a trans woman is getting all stroppy because I do always get, whenever Talk Radio tweet that we're on, which is great, you know, because that's the station that we're on, and I love working here. But our show kind of sticks out a little bit, like a slightly esoteric, psychedelic sore thumb. And you'll quite often get some fringe listeners who go, "Oh, this guy's a dick. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to this guy." And or something. And someone. It all got a bit weird, and someone who isn't a listener to this show tweeted something transphobic, and this trans woman, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, got involved and called him a C. And this is all going off in my timeline because I'm atted in it. And so I'm getting a transphobic comment. Of course, I blocked him immediately. But then I'm getting, "Oh, you're such a C." And I thought, I don't really want to see that word in my timeline. So I checked. The person, the trans woman who sent that wasn't following me. So if they'd been following me, it would have been slightly different, I think. I'm just going to block. I'm just going to block because they don't follow me, they don't know me, and I don't want that word in my timeline. So I blocked them. And then about 10 minutes later, I got on Instagram, people can DM you. But you have to accept it for them to know that you've read their DM. You can either accept it or decline it. And she sent me, with no comment, but just the screen grab of "Iain Lee has blocked you." And I started writing a reply saying, "Well, you don't follow me, and I don't like that language in my timeline." I just thought, I don't owe her anything. Owe her anything. No. So I blocked her on Instagram. And then, as I often do, when I block people, about 20 minutes, half an hour later, I often go and have a little look. Not always, but sometimes go and have a little look just to see how they're dealing with, you know, what is, in reality, a really insignificant moment. Even blocked on Twitter, who cares? You know, it's not really a thing. And she was getting very, very angry and tweeting Talk Radio saying Iain Lee has blocked me simply because I called out someone who abused, you know, as transphobic. Do you not like LGBTQ people? And I thought, but and that instant, that
well,
comment,
it wasn't just that though, was it? It was, "Aren't all your listeners C-bombs?"
Something like that. Yes, that was another one. That was another one. And no, not all of our listeners are C-bombs.
To me, it feels like someone bashing into you in the middle of a fight that you're not involved in, and then being offended you don't want to join in.
And here's the thing, I would say only, 65% of the listeners to this show are C-bombs. That's a pretty good average. That means we've got about 35 that are only dicks. And I don't really care. And I'm mentioning this because it struck me. I mention this because that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'll go and have a look in a second, see if she said anything else. I'm mentioning it because it struck me that we so often get involved in arguments and fights and things and make up what the other person is thinking or is feeling. Or let me get the exact. Hang on a second. Let me get the exact tweet. And again, I'm not giving out their name because I don't want to single them out. I don't want to pile on. It's just just made me.
I didn't get any of this. Because I've put a quality filter on my tweet, so if someone doesn't have a proper name or something, certain words and stuff, I don't see any of it. If they don't have any followers, I don't see what they're saying. You know, so people who set Twitter accounts up just to troll, wasting their time. I don't see it.
Okay. Okay, okay, they've added more stuff. Your DJ Iain Lee blocks people who challenges transphobes on Twitter. Hate LGBTQ people, do we? And I just thought, well, your basic premise is wrong. I've not blocked you because you called out a transphobe. So you have you have filled in so many blanks, and then let's see. They've kind of tweeted more abuse after that. They have tweeted so many. They filled in so many blanks that just simply aren't true. I've not blocked them because they called out a transphobe. Not at all. I blocked that person as well. I blocked them because I was being dragged into an argument that I didn't want to be dragged into, and I was shown a C-bomb that I didn't really want to see. And because get this, today I have been lying down for 95% of the day because I feel lousy. So and I'm not putting this on that person. They don't know that. Of course they don't. There's no reason they should. But to accuse me of blocking them because they called out a transphobe, it just shows, and again, I want to take it away from this person, it just shows that when people, humans, us, get into arguments, and particularly online, but in any situation really, we fill in so many blanks to fit our narrative. And that's it.
Yeah, we're all the heroes of our own story. The fact is, I spend 8 hours a day breaking up a fight amongst two girls who sooner or later will learn to get along in harmony or just never speak to each other again. Yeah. My children, I certainly don't need to be breaking up fights with grown adults.
No.
If it's something that I have seen happen and I feel strongly enough, perhaps I will. But someone doing the cyber equivalent of elbowing me when I'm standing next to a bar minding my own business, nah, I'm not getting involved, mate. Bye bye.
You still argue with people though, don't you? You particularly if they criticise you or me or the show, you still get involved. And I tend not to now. And the freedom of blocking people, and now I've got a policy that I don't unblock. I don't if I saw something I didn't like, it's just a simple block, and quite often people will email me an apology or something, and I just don't unblock anymore. That decision has now been made. And oh my God, Katherine, the freedom that it brings, the freedom.
Oh, there is a subtle difference in what I do. I don't argue. I set people straight, then I mute them. If someone's making an assumption about me that's not fair or not true, I'll tell them the truth, and then I will disappear from their life forever.
Yeah.
Because I'm not engaging. No one's ever going to have their mind changed. But for the benefit of the record, I will tell them what's true.
Imagine like getting to 80 and or 85 and you're on your deathbed and thinking, God, I wish I'd spent more time arguing with those idiots on Twitter. I just wish I'd set a few more people straight who thought that the show was bullying and was mean, and actually they hadn't heard the whole relationship that we've got with that. I wish I'd just set that. No one's going to think that. No one's going to think that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I also feel responsible in a way for the women that go after me and went before me in certain things. You know, if someone comes on and starts treating me as if I'm a 21-year-old who doesn't know anything, because that's their assumption, because they hear a woman on the radio and they must be, for God's sake, she must be the applause in a handbag. That's what women do on the radio if they're working with a man. I'll set them straight, because there are other women. And I've had this since I was 24, and I have kind of been wondering at what age I am allowed to express an opinion without being told that I am a gobby child. Well, here's the thing. I'm a gobby 42-year-old now, and I'm embracing it, and I'm not going to apologise for it. And I've realised also that those people will never think I'm entitled to an opinion, and so I've got to stop asking for permission.
I nearly gave out the phone number then, and up there. I don't really want to take any phone calls at the moment. We might do a bit later on. Let's see how it goes. Let's take a quick break though. This is the Late Night Alternative, weeknights from 10 with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
I hoovered the stairs last week. That was what I did on Friday. I hoovered the stairs and the downstairs, and I'm thinking I've got to find that clip that the bloody cats have knocked off somewhere. I might have a little look in a bit. What was I telling you about hoovering the stairs? There was a reason for it. Yeah, you're exactly right, Kath. There was a reason Oh, today I have been dusting. Not a lot, but I'll be lying on the sofa and I go, oh, the stereo's a bit dusty. I'll go and get the duster and I'll dust the stereo. And then I was looking at the TV that was off and thinking, oh, it's a bit smudgy. I'm going to go and do that. So dusting.
Yeah, I've been there, especially because I don't get to sit down and watch television normally in daylight, so I don't get to see the sunlight streaming through and lighting up, the spider's webs and all the dust and stuff. So, yeah, I've been there. It usually takes for it to get to the point where one of the kids has done a smiley face in it before I'll get the duster out, but eventually I will.
This is what I was going to ask an hour ago. What is TV looking like now? Because I'm not watching it. Netflix at the most. I'm probably going to cancel Disney Plus because we watched the first 2 National Treasure films, and I think that's all I wanted to watch on there. So I'm probably going to cancel that. And if I do it soon, I can do it before I get charged. But I haven't watched normal telly. I know that they did Have I Got News From You remotely, and that just seems like a terrible idea.
There's a lot of programmes of people sitting in their living rooms. The Steph show, she's had to do that from home, and that's been, But
I bet that kind of works for her because she's cozy. It's cozy, and I think she's great.
Yeah.
A whole show, I don't know, I've not seen it, but I think she's great. So I bet her doing a lunchtime show from home works really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows. Put it this way: there's a lot of shows at the moment that are looking a lot like Gogglebox. I'm not passing judgment on that. Of course, it's got to be that way. It's weird these days to see people sitting on a sofa near each other. Obviously, Eamon is married to the person that he sits on the sofa with, so that's going to happen in the mornings. But everyone else is being beamed in remotely. I've not really seen a full programme. I've seen bits and bibs and bobs as have been going on in the course of the day.
Up yours, Pete, and in your face, everyone who said that you weren't allowed to say bibs and bobs. Screw you. She said it. She's right. Thank you, Katherine.
I did notice that they've had like a proper family film on for the last 3 days. They've had the Indiana Jones films on, which is that normal?
Well, it's bank holiday, so yeah, it is actually.
I tell you what I was watching today. What's that programme, Shove Apney, with Ben?
Oh yeah, I like that, Ben Shepherd. Yeah.
Shovey machines.
Yeah.
What's it called? Tipping point.
Tipping point. Yeah.
And there was an actor on there, one of the young actors from Coronation Street, female. I think she might be Rosie Webster's sister. Or she might be Rosie Webster. No, she's Rosie Webster's sister. Anyway, she didn't know anything about... she didn't know who Fred and Ginger were. She didn't know... There were all these references. And it occurred to me that there's a whole generation, I think you and I, are part of the last lot of kids who were forced to watch what was on a weekend, right? And,
oh, God, yeah, I thought about this for a long time.
The remote control was not in our possession. Yeah, the remote control was not in our possession. So I've seen Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers film. I've sat through black and white films. I remember, watching The King and I with my grandma, not because it was big fun, because it was what was on, and it's what my granddad wanted to watch. My granddad was in possession of the remote control. It certainly wasn't let the kids have the telly, which I think generally is what it is these days.
But even that's an old-fashioned concept because kids don't want to watch the telly. I came downstairs yesterday and the boys were watching YouTube videos on their phone. They were watching Ali A's YouTuber. I'm not so keen on, but the boys love him. And I said, boys, if you're going to watch that, can we just watch it on the telly? So it's like, so we can all sit and watch it and it becomes a thing, So, I mean, actually encouraging them to watch TV. So, but also when we were growing up, there were only, God, listen to us, we're such old farts. But for me, there were only 3 channels.
No, but there's a reason for it. Yeah, there's a reason for it. And what I'm saying is that there's a whole generation of people who'll say, before my time, as if that's the end of the argument. Whereas to us, it's like, and we were forced to watch all this old stuff.
Yeah.
And it didn't do us any harm. Oh God, we are those old farts.
I grew up to become a drug addict, so actually I would suggest it did me a lot of harm. But then the kids go off and sit in a different room and they watch Ali A and Dan TDM and all these and Slogo and all these strange people that we don't really understand, and we'll sit there and go, well, this isn't great content. They don't want to sit and watch a TV program with us.
No. it's moving on now. It's not even about that anymore. I mean, at least with YouTube, you might get like a half-hour broadcast of some kind. My eldest is now obsessed with TikTok, and it's all 20 seconds fits and starts, and they all sound like they've been sucking on a helium balloon. It's and it's not necessarily all like original stuff. They're just miming to other people's stuff. It's the strangest thing. But again, it's not for us, is it?
No, it's not. It's not for us, and good for them. The boys haven't really got into TikTok, and they're growing out of their current tranche of YouTubers, I think, which is quite good. But now the thing they'll do is they'll set the computer, and I've got 2 screens on my computer. So on one screen they'll be playing Fortnite, and then on the other screen it will be a video of someone playing Fortnite. And I didn't do a great dadding job this weekend. I kind of let them play Fortnite for way too long, but it just felt everything. The fact that I managed to get them food felt like an achievement to do. We haven't had. I've not really done a lot, so I need to get a little bit more into a routine. I don't know. I am dreading this coming to an end. And I know people, again, I mentioned this and someone tweeted somewhere, Ian's so out of touch with the real world because he's dreading it coming to an end. He's getting paid a fortune and is living in a big house. And I'm getting paid really well, and I live in a nice, medium-sized house. And I get that this is not the experience that the majority of people are having, that I am having a not unique, but I'm having a privileged experience, as privileged as it can be, with all the mental health stuff going on as well. But there are loads of people that are living in 1-bedroom flats or bedsits with kids.
God, yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. But in my defence, what they're going through doesn't invalidate my experience. This is still my experience, and it's still my world, and I'm entitled to do it, to talk about it. And I'm part of me is afraid of things going back to normal and going back out and stuff. And I think that's quite common.
I know what you mean. I was talking to one of my best mates who is Spanish. They've been holed up for a whole lot longer than we have, and people are starting to go back to work today, which I didn't know about.
Yeah.
We were sort of just talking about how weird the situation was, and she was talking about what she wants to do when she gets out, and we must see each other more and all that stuff that, of course, everybody says, and we will do it, but
no, I don't think we will.
Life has stopped us up to this point, but we'll at some point we'll be together again and we'll have a laugh. But seeing people on the metro, the photographs of people on the metro going to work today in Spain with masks on filled me with fear. Thinking, God, are we really sure it's safe for those people? Aren't we just taking the genie out of the bottle?
You describing that reminds me of going on the underground like a day, or maybe it was 2 days after the July 7th bombings. It may have been a handful of days actually, and going on the tube, and everyone was looking at each other as if to say, "Is this safe?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we okay?" And you'd see,
allowed to do this?
And you'd see. I'm going to say it. You'd see an Asian man with a rucksack, and there'd be a moment of, "Is this?" And that is an inert prejudice that doesn't imply a covert racism. It's it's just that was what people were feeling, and it was weird, and it was weird for a long time, but. We got back. After the 7/7, we got back to normal, and now you get on the 6 months ago. You'd get on the tube, and it'd be pushing people and shoving, and all this, and we'll get back to that again.
Yeah, but we trust. Well, do you think, because it's a completely different situation, of course, because we know in our heart of hearts when those things happen that it's the outliers in society that do things, that it's very unlikely to happen to us, and that we need to carry on, and you can't let people win and all that sort of stuff. With this, the enemy is invisible, and we are relying on the information we are given from people who, let's face it, have not been perfect in this the whole way through.
Yeah. One day, when this is close to being done, we'll go through all the evidence. I'm starting to. I'm not starting. I've been thinking for a while that the Prime Minister and his lot have really balls this up massively. And I'm still going along
to bring it up.
No, it doesn't seem churlish to bring it up. I
now.
think it seems appropriate to bring it up now. But what I don't know what the alternative would be. I just think they started too late. And they're not including, care homes and things like that. And they started too late is the thing. And I got a feeling that at some point, some people in positions of power will. I think there might be legal proceedings against them. Whether that's Boris Johnson or not, I don't know. But I think that once the evidence is out, of course there will be. There's always inquiries. There's the Savile inquiry, the VIP paedophile scandal inquiry. There's all these inquiries. There will be an inquiry into this, and as long as it's done honestly and openly, someone has to say they acted too late. They acted too late. The ignored emails from Europe about ventilators, they acted too late. And I think there's going to be criminal charges pressed against people.
Yeah. Well, and all the fuzzy mixed messages. Okay, don't go to the pub. We wouldn't. But if you want to, you can. They're still open. All that kind of stuff. Oh, I've still been shaking hands with people, but I wouldn't if... Well, you shouldn't. I can't make decisions for you. All that stuff was going on, wasn't it? At a time when actually other countries had already started shutting down. I mean, Ireland, they're losing half as many people as we are. Why are we not talking about that? New Zealand managed to shut. I mean, they went down very heavy straight away, but they've lost very, very few people. At some point we're going to have these conversations.
If you're being told that staying in saves lives, right?
Yeah.
How could you have a problem with staying in?
Because it's resistance to authority. Because it's people who feel like they don't have enough power, and so they're trying to take it back. It's kind of a self-soothing thing in a weird way.
It's weird.
Except, it's not just about you. So yeah, okay, make yourself feel better, but you're gambling with people's lives. I would rather stay in.
Local Facebook groups. That's where the action is, and I can't. I say I don't argue with people on Twitter anymore. I can't resist arguing on the local Facebook groups. And there was one guy who said, my friends just phoned me up and she told me that she was out with her family for her hours allotted exercise, and a jogger barged past her, sweating all over her, and was very rude to her. Well, if that had happened, he said, where have manners gone? Why is everyone so rude these days? If that had happened to me, I would have tripped the B1TCH over and given her a piece of my mind.
Oh, it was a woman.
And I replied, dude, you're calling people out for having no manners. You've called a woman a bitch, excuse my language, and you've threatened her with violence. How is that? How is that setting a better example? And he kind of argued back a bit, and then his post got taken down. And then there was another one where someone had posted a picture taken from a distance of a man and his car, so you could see the man and you could see his number plate. And he'd obviously driven out for exercise or something. I don't quite get what the point was, but he'd driven somewhere that he shouldn't. And the caption was something like, "Is this an essential journey?" And I wrote, and fair play, so did everyone, posting a picture of a guy and his number plate. You're coming pretty close to stalking and actually breaking a law. If you've got a problem, speak to him or call the police or just get on with your life. But posting his picture and his number plate on Facebook, how is that helping anything?
Also, why was that guy there? Was that essential?
Exactly. And then someone posted a picture of a little card stuck on a bench up at Coombe Hill, and it was beautiful. I thought, oh, this is beautiful. And then I thought, oh, right, see if you can see the flaw in this. So it's a little handwritten card on a bench at Coombe Hill, which is a lovely tourist spot near Chequers. You can see Chequers from it. Chequers plays pop, and it said, "Thank you so much for staying at home this weekend, saving lives and making my job easier, from a nurse."
Okay. Was she?
Well, that means a nurse has gone out. That means a nurse has gone out and broken the rules to be passive aggressive to other people that are breaking the rules. What's your beef, nurse?
Also, you know that kind of, in my town, we've been doing this thing where people have been kids normally, but sometimes competitive mums, painting up with little messages on sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you know. And I saw Kathy Burke had retweeted this, and I'd seen it, and I retweeted it, and then I took it down because I thought, it was a lovely pebble painted up like a rainbow. You know, the rainbows that are being put up in people's windows to give children hope.
I know rainbows. Yeah.
And on the back it said, if you're reading this, F off home. I love the NHS. But the thing is, if I'm out, first of all, we were out the other day for our allotted hour of exercise, taking the children out for a walk, right? And honestly, there are so few people about. You can see other people over the horizon and work out your escape route. I mean, no one is coming anywhere near anyone else. And we saw a pebble on the floor, and my eldest went to pick it up and went, no, don't pick it up. Don't pick it up. You can't touch it.
Yeah.
But also I was thinking, you know, for the kid that does, do they really want to see that? You know,
my boys would find that hilarious. Yeah, my boys want to see stones with F off written on it. Of course they do.
Yeah, but that kind of reminds me of the time when I took my daughter to the park and she was just about reading, and she was doing that kind of reading where the phonics, and she she said something like, "What does mean?" And I went, "It means we've got to go home." I said, it's a daddy chicken. Let's go home.
My boys still live in a world where the C word is crap. So I'm quite happy for them. Although part of me wants to say to them, guys, I can give you ultimate power in the playground by giving you the biggest. You think you know the biggest swear word. You think it's F, right? You think it's F. Nah, it's not. And you think the C word is crap? Nah, I've got a word for you. It won't mean anything to you, okay? But it will give you power. It's this.
Yeah.
And I'm so tempted.
Yeah, but the only problem is that they are not. I don't want my kid to be that kid who gets pulled up in front of the headmaster for being the one who, indoctrinates the rest of the year.
Catherine, we both know it's going to be our youngest kids are going to be that kid. We know that. We know that. It won't be the eldest. It will be the youngest.
I think my eldest already knows what it is.
Oh,
yeah, because there are some rough kids at her school. I think she's already heard it. She certainly knew about the F-bomb a lot earlier than... I mean, I probably didn't know about that until I was about 14, 15. But that's because my parents were very, very staunchly anti-swearing, to the point, of rubbing soap on my teeth for saying crap. So, I'm not going to mess with that.
You didn't know the F word till you were 14, 15. I knew it when I was... I knew
No.
it. My parents were... My dad in particular, very, very sweary. Very sweary.
Oh, my mum and dad were very, you get bloody, you'd get, the S-bomb and all that sort of stuff. Never the F word, never. And even now they're very offended by that, I think.
I don't like how mother effer has entered the English language, but that's an American word, and I think we're losing a lot of great British swears like winker because of things like mother effer. We got some great British swear words, and we should bring those back.
The whole mother lover thing, I think, is from Latin America. I know in Spanish, a lot of the swears are quite long, protracted, imagined scenarios in which the mother is violated, because it's, that's the most precious person in your life. You're a good Catholic boy, your mother and your sister. That's a huge violation. And one of the big swears involves defecating in your mother's milk.
Oh, in her milk?
That's particularly nasty. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say mouth. All right, let's take a quick break. This is the Late Night Alternative, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
What you got? Oh, I tell you what I've got. Let me do a story.
Yeah.
You may have done this before, actually. This rings a bell, but who cares? No one listens to all of this stuff. I think you did do this. Our sex toy company is booming since lockdown. Did you do this?
No, but I could have.
Okay. Exclusive adult. This is exclusive to the Mirror. adult content, Joe Silver and James Pearson, who run Olivia Ocean, have seen sales soar by 38% since lockdown, and they're expecting it to hit 50% by the weekend. As the UK continues adjusting to life in lockdown, Brits are missing many things from the pre-coronavirus world. Seeing friends, going out for a meal, or having a pint in the pub are high on most people's lists. But there's another thing many are craving: sex. I really couldn't be bothered, particularly because it was so hot. But also, my libido has just, it's like, yeah.
You've gone into survival mode, mate, and not about survival of the species.
Exactly. It's survival of the shittest. So it's hardly surprising that sex toy companies have seen a spike in online orders, with many reporting sales have almost doubled since lockdown began. If you do get sex toys, please, you must disinfect them, because you don't want to get coronavirus up there. Joe Silver and James Pearson, who run Olivia Ocean, and their team are working harder than ever to get the increased number of deliveries, or every rude word I'm going to go, deliveries, out to customers, while ensuring they're staying safe by social distancing. Joe, 27, told Mirror Online sales went through the roof. I've had to say lots of products are out of stock. We just weren't ready for this. Then there's a picture of them with loads of dildos. And the caption... it's a picture of them with about 8 dildos. And the caption is, they've had an extremely busy few weeks. It's like they've tested every single one.
Better than that.
Yes. Everybody's working hard or something. Everybody is at home and they've got a lot of spare time on their hands. We're only human. Everyone is
on their hands.
Everyone is just a bit randy, let's be honest. Really? Is anyone randy?
No.
I
think most of us are barely washing.
In the first week, oh my God, I didn't have a shower yesterday, and I woke up this morning and I found the smell of my right armpit both repellent and fascinating at the same time.
My youngest went to me the other day, "Oh, Mummy, your armpits, you haven't had a shave." I went, "You honestly, you don't want to know."
Oh, really?
What's the point?
Yeah, well... Yeah, well,
not wearing a bikini in front of anyone anytime soon, am I? I've gone to pot.
They would normally send out 1,500 a day. I guess that means dildos and glass bum dildos and things like that. Yeah. They would normally send out 1,500 a day from their Harrogate office, but last week they were sending out close to 5,000. Joe said, day after day we come in and we're up on what we were before. However, they're taking extreme precautions to make sure their team of 7 staff are safe, meaning they've had to change parts of their operation. There are a number of products that have been particularly popular since lockdown, including their couple's mystery box, a naughty surprise for intense desire. We're totally going to click on the website in a minute and see if we can find out what the couple's mystery box is.
You were an idiot. Of course you're not going to find out what the couple's mystery box is. It's all the odds and sods I can't shift anywhere else.
It's not like when you go into a restaurant and the special is basically the stuff they've had on the menu for the past week and they've got loads of.
It's exactly that.
Olivia Ocean started off in a slightly unconventional way when James sent Joe a photo of a sex toy with no explanation. Joe said, "I knew him quite well, so I knew he was a bit of a joker, but I didn't know what angle this was. 90 degrees. At first he had some reservations, knowing that he would have to tell his family what he was doing, but he decided to give it a go, and he hasn't looked back. Well, I suggest you can add things to your catalogue that would mean you want to look back. When I started looking into it, I realised it was a massive market." He's speaking about you, Katherine, you're downstairs. "I realised it was a massive market. And there aren't a lot of people to compete with. After some market research, we found people don't want to spend a lot of cash to buy a sex toy because they might realise it's not for them and you can't return it. These are cheap sex toys for poor people. Okay, suddenly I'm interested. Their main aims..."
Or for people who've just not got the commitment.
Their main aims were to provide affordable sex toys and to work to take away the taboo surrounding the products. Uh-oh, here we go. They bought, look out, Farage. They bought products directly from the suppliers in China. Chinese deal. Oh, thank you. I don't want a Chinese mystery box. That's how we got into this predicament.
Flipping wet markets.
Before long, their business was growing. Joe said, it started going really well. I couldn't believe how well it was going. People couldn't get enough of what we were supplying. And that's the end of the story.
So what you're saying is that we should stock up on batteries now because there's going to be a rush on those in about a week.
Then the first comment is, stop buying anything from friggin' China.
Gosh.
Let's have a little look at their website because I want to... Olivia Ocean.
Sounds classy.
Sex toys. Hang on. I think they only have a Facebook page. I don't think they have
what?
A website. Do you want to... I wonder if... here we go. Website, oliviaocean.co.uk. I'm going to buy you a present, Kath.
I'm all right.
Nope. My treat.
I can guarantee I'm fine for that. Whatever it might be.
We'll have a whip round. Do they sell those?
I've got plenty of those.
I am going to spend a £5. Oh, my gosh.
Don't spend the £5 on anything. I'm not putting anything near my most precious parts that cost a £5.
Let me send you a picture of something that I found that I can't even describe on the radio. It's so rude. So, Sam, you're going to get this as well.
I think this might be an HR issue, but go on, send it.
I think it's an ARSE issue, not HR. Let's... There we go. Let's send that over. It looks like it can do itself. Right. So we want... Yeah?
Oh, that's...
Isn't it?
Well, that's... wow. Well, I mean, if that was real, you'd go to the doctor, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So let's look at what I want to... The mystery box.
Reminds me of finger bobs.
But who's Yoffie?
Finger bobs! Must take you to hospital immediately.
And the mystery box isn't... It doesn't seem to come up when you type it in. That's a shame.
No.
Oh, maybe the mystery box is one of those flashlights. An automatic gun. Gosh, I mean, all right, okay. Well, this is
none of this sounds massively romantic to me.
No. No, it doesn't. Well. No. Okay. This is the late night alternative. Close that page, please, Ian. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Just see your message, Katherine. Outrageous. What you got, Boyley?
Well, so many wonderful things. Oh, by the way, I got inspired this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm bored, but I know how I'm going to get unbored as soon as I can get the equipment together. And it's not Olivia Ocean. I'm going to paint again. I used to paint when I was younger, and I haven't had time to do it forever.
Oh, I would love a
when I lived
original. I bet they're incredible.
Well, I'll crack one out for you. I'm going to have loads of them. I'll be like my granddad. My granddad used to paint when he was retired, and he'd stopped smoking, and he usst to like churn out about 7 a day. He used to just sit in the garage painting crap.
I will commission you. Have you ever been commissioned for your art before?
No.
I am going to give you your first ever paid commission. I would like a portrait, please.
No, don't.
Of myself and David Babcock playing drafts. I was going to say chess, but I imagine that's fiddly. Playing drafts, and I will pay you £25 for that painting, please. That's true. I will
That's
actually
not the sort
pay
of
that.
art I was planning to do, but I'll think about it.
What are you going to do?
I'll think
What are
about
you going
it.
to do?
I don't really want to compromise this early in my career. I'm going watercolours. That's what I used to do before. When I was stuck in a house when I used to live in Paris, which sounds very glamorous and wasn't. I was so poor, couldn't afford to go out, couldn't really afford to eat very much. But I bought myself some paints to sort of while away the hours while I was stuck indoors. And I thought to myself yesterday, what am I doing? Of course it's time to get the paints out again. So I'm going to start painting again, and hopefully that will I'll give me something to do. You know what I'm like? I like tinkering and dabbling, and I need to make something. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint.
Okay. All right. Well, do you accept my very generous? I'm a philanthropist.
It sounds very figurative, and that's not really my bag.
Okay, so that's a yes.
I'll think about it. Let me see how I get on. I might get sick of it after a day, but I remember I used to really like it.
I ordered a jigsaw puzzle. I've got the Beatles on Abbey Road jigsaw puzzle coming possibly tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Because that's gentle to do, and I am doing nothing. I've read a couple of really lousy books. Listening to podcasts is all I can do. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. So a jigsaw, you can sort of sit there and it feels like you're doing something, and it's very meditative, very peaceful.
Yes.
So I've ordered a jigsaw.
I've started my Shane Ritchie autobiography, and I'm enjoying it so far. Rags to Riches. I've never got round to reading it before.
Oh, I thought you were writing a book on Shane Ritchie. Okay, you're reading the book.
No, I'll read it first, and then of course he is my specialist subject. I've just finished a book I bought 2 years ago. I found the receipt in the bag with it, and it said 2018.
Wowzers.
And I'd bought it while waiting for you to come out of a meeting. I seem to remember.
All right,
from a posh bookshop in London, and I don't go to them very often. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, I've just finished a book, so don't give me too many missions.
I've read 3
books.
Had
concentration all the time.
I've read 3 books since we started doing the show from home. 2 of them were very, very easy reads. One was the Louis Theroux book, which was good. That wasn't one of the easy reads.
Oh, I've got that.
It's a good book, actually, but it seems so old-fashioned now. One was a really lame biography about Barry Manilow that kind of just gets to about 1985, then sort of wimps out and obviously has trouble finding any more information. So it then just does like a big essay and interviews with fans and about how they would have sexual fantasies about Barry Manilow. And you just think, no, this isn't what I want. I want to know what he did in 1993.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, people did.
No.
People did.
No. Well, yeah. I would imagine. I can imagine the sort of person you might.
He was a sex symbol, and I was watching I watched some Barry Manilow at the weekend. He was a sex symbol, It's strange to think, but he was huge. Apparently. This is the interesting thing from that book. This is the interesting thing from that book. Apparently, he doesn't like his fans, and he feels, because that's the music he plays is not his kind of music. He's like a jazz musician and like Broadway tunes. Right. And when he got handed Mandy to record a song he didn't write, the head of the record, so he recorded this album, and the head of the record company, the first album sort of been a bit of a flop, and he recorded the second album, and the Clive Davis, the head of Arista Records, went, it's not great, but you need to record this song. It's called Brandy, and he says, this is going to be a number 1 hit for you. And Manilow said, yeah, it's not really what I want to do. And Clive Davis said, you either do it or the record doesn't come out. And so he did it knowing that Ron Dante, who we've had on the show, the voice of Sugar Sugar by the Archies, who we've had on the show, was producing it. And he said to him, if I do this, right, this is obviously going to be a huge hit, and this will change forever the direction that I go in, and it did. And so the theory is he hates his music, and therefore he resents his fans who obviously love that music. And apparently, when he meets fans, he does everything he can to avoid meeting fans. And he used to, in his pomp, would have it so that if he walked into a room, no one was allowed to look at him. But he avoids fans as much as possible. And if he meets fans, he's just really, really rude to them.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine they'd put up with that kind of treatment.
But people do. I told you, Peter Talk of the Monkeys. I've seen him shout foul abuse at people. He's done it. Has he done it to me? He's not done it to me. He's been really weird with me. But I've seen him. I've been stood next to the person he was screaming at, and there are so many stories of it. And you put up with it because you love what they do. As time went on, I put up with it less and less, and kind of thought he's a bit of a dick, actually. And there's you mentioned that on a Monkeys Facebook page, and you will get loads of people going, yeah, he was really rude to me, but he was really nice to my hot girlfriend. And then you'll get other people going, oh, shut up, he would never do that. You don't know what you're talking about. But there are too many instances. I've seen it, and you kind of it's kind of. It's not quite an abusive relationship. Well, of course, it's not an abusive relationship. But the good, the happiness that they bring you, the pleasure that they bring you, you can almost push it to one side. The fact that actually they may be a massive dick.
Yeah, I've got it. So Dylan, the way he treats his fans sometimes. That. Who else?
Oh, but Dylan isn't. But Dylan isn't necessarily. Doesn't necessarily tell his fans to F off, whereas Peter Talk has done that, and apparently Barry Manilow would do that. Barry, I'm a big fan. I'll get F off. I don't think Dylan would do that. Yeah. I know from our friend Simon who met Dylan once, who was working on something and bumped into Bob Dylan and Neil Young, and he said, "All right, Bob, cheer up a bit," and Bob just gave him a withering look, and Simon sort of slowly slunk away. So I don't think he has contempt for his fans. We know that by the shows that he puts on. But I don't think he would necessarily go up to them and tell them to F off.
All right, let me give you another one. Grace Jones.
Go on.
People would queue up to be abused by Grace Jones.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but that isn't that because
my
of
sister
the
was cabin
Russell
crew. Have I
Harty?
told you that Grace... It's the whole thing. I mean, it's part of her persona, isn't it, to be terrifying. But my sister was cabin crew, and she said that Grace Jones came on a flight and she was a nightmare from beginning to end, refused to put her seatbelt on, was insisting people did it for her, wouldn't put her shoes back on, and she said that my sister said that she was like actually growling at people, like like an animal.
By the way, Grace Jones's Growler, if that's not been released as an album, then for God's sakes, come on.
But she decided she liked my sister and she was purring at her.
Oh.
But people love those stories because it's Grace Jones doing what Grace Jones should be doing. That's kind of part of her thing, isn't it? I do think with someone like Barry Manilow or one of the Monkeys, you're not necessarily prepared for that kind of treatment.
No, and there were loads of reasons why Peter Talk may have been like that. Again, it was a bitterness. He was a very bitter man, as was Davy Jones, but he was always lovely to his fans. But it was interesting. If anyone here, it's a long shot, guys. I will take calls, but only calls from Barry Manilow fans who have met him and can either back up the story that he's rude to people, or will want to dismiss the story that he is delightful to people. Those are the only calls we will take for the next 30 minutes. People who have actually met Barry Manilow. My God, that's a niche phone-in. We've not had calls for an hour and a half, and now I'm narrowing it down to people that have only met Barry Manilow. 0344 499
we really want that
1000.
story.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think who else I've met who's been
similarly Diana Ross. You want someone who's been told to call her Miss Ross. I mean, that's part of the legend, isn't it?
What would happen if you've been told to call? Well, we know what would happen. She will assault you, and she'd get put in the nearest police station cell near to Heathrow. Do you remember that when she got done for because she claimed she was being frisked too vigorously at Heathrow, so she attacked the woman, I think it was, the woman that was frisking her.
That's right. Yeah, she alleged that she was being assaulted.
What would happen, though? What would happen? Well, the court proved that she probably wasn't. I don't know if they went to court. What would happen, though, if you've been told you have to address her as Miss Ross, and you go, all right, Diana, and she says something, and you go, oh, get over yourself, you stuck-up effer. What? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I've been respectful. We have to go to the news in a minute. I've been respectful to people that I've been told I have to be respectful to because they've come into a radio station for an interview and stuff like that. Ray Davies was one of them. But you do think if you were kind of out and about and you know, Diana Ross was rude to you and you went, oh, F off, you silly cow. Well, they couldn't do anything, could they?
No, but I suppose it depends how beholden you are to that person. If they're somehow connected with if you want them to do something and you know that the way to get them to do something is to be polite, then what's the harm in it? But if they're going to be rude to you, I don't think there's any.
This is the phone in for the next 30 minutes, and for the last half hour we might do call straight to air, but for the next 30 minutes I only want to hear from you if you've met Barry Manilow and he was either nice to you or rude to you. Don't want indifference. And if you've ever told Diana Ross to F off. 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Yesterday had nothing to say. Tomorrow may bring me a thought. Today was here, now it's turned into fear. If it's with you, then I should stay. Sit and wonder why I'm leaving. Sit and wonder if you'll call. Wonder why I'm wondering at all. Yesterday, you gave me my way. Tomorrow, I'm gonna give you yours. Today we shared in each other's affair. Now there's really nothing left for me to say. Sit and wonder why I'm leaving. Sit and wonder if you'll call. Sit and wonder why I'm looking for a meaning. Sit and wonder why I'm wondering at all.
Not really. I've got a giant bag of drumstick squashies, and I'm a bit nauseous. So, the late night alternative. Oh, the late night alternative. Weeknights from 10. I'm Iain Lee. That's Katherine Boyd. We've got a text in from Michelle. maybe you could help with this one, Katherine. I think this is probably aimed at you. Hi, it's Michelle. Can you talk about the black race in China? Over to you, Katherine.
Sorry, what now?
Hi, it's Michelle. Can you talk about the black race in China? Over to you, Katherine.
I have no idea what you're on about, Michelle. Are you out of your tiny mind? I suggest you go to bed.
But then you can go back to see Michelle's other tweets, other texts. Right?
Am I bang on? Should she have gone to bed quite some time ago?
Hi, it's Michelle. Can you talk about the black race in China? The previous text was, hi, it's Michelle. I think it's really fascinating that Carol Vorderman puts her support behind Wales in the rugby. It's really, really great on her behalf. But then the text before that says, hi, it's Michelle. Why does Carol Vorderman's bum make everybody horny? Now, that's a wide range of topics.
It's not a wide range. It's a very pert one. Yes. Oh, Michelle. I don't think Twitter's for you.
Oh, dear. No, she's actually texted in. She's actually texted in.
Don't text. Don't text. Turn your phone off and go and have a little sleep.
Sam, you can take that phone call. We're only for the next 30 minutes. I only want to hear from you if you've told Diana Ross to F off or if you've met Barry Manilow. That's it. That's all I want. Anything else? Not interested. Not interested in the slightest. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you would like to give us a call about those two very, very specific, very niche topics. We were talking earlier, Katherine, about how some programmes are being done from home. I watched the news the other day, simply because the boy's mum was on there. So we watched a bit of the news, and it was. I don't know if it's all being done like this. I think they're doing some of the presenting from the studio, but it seemed that from the bit I saw, it seemed to be the main presenter was doing that from home as well, which I thought was very, very peculiar. And we know that they did Have I Got News From You from home. There was a reason I was talking about this. Hang on, bear with me. I was the TV. What was I was building up to something. Hang on 1 second. God, I'm getting so. This is what I used to be like all the time. Hang on a second. I just need to let me play some thinking music. I'm getting further and further away from what it was. What my original point was. Hang on. Doing TV from home. News is being done from home. Have I got news for you? Is being done from home. Where was I going with this? Got it. The new episode of The Tiger King has dropped today.
Right, yeah.
And I watched 5 minutes and went, nah, never watching this. It looks rubbish. So it's hosted by Joel McHale, who I quite like.
Yeah, I've heard bad things.
I quite like him as a presenter and as a comedian, and I like his style, his brash, style. But what it is, it's not like an extra documentary episode. It's all of the main players, apart from Joe Exotic, I think, talking about,
because he's banged up.
He's banged up, talking about their lives since the documentary. But of course, they filmed it during lockdown, so it's all done on Skype and what looks like mobile phones. And I watched 5 minutes of it, and you think we've got a delay here, man alive, the delay between Joel McHale and the first guest, and you think, well, you could have You could have got rid of that in editing, right? You could have. Joel's good enough to be told, once there's going to be a delay, so just say get to the end of the question, then be quiet. And don't worry if there's any big gaps. We can tighten it up in the edit. We'll make it look like it's a normal conversation. And they didn't, and it looks flipping awful. Hey, George. And I thought, I'm not watching this. 5 minutes, gone. Not watching that rubbish.
I'm not sure there's any need for it. Here's the thing. I'm watching it again at the moment. And
why?
I am thinking that, because someone in my house, my husband hadn't seen it. So it's on again, and quite frankly, as opposed to the other crap that could be being watched, he's got obsessed with things about cars getting done up.
Oh, okay. Pimp My Ride.
And Pimp My Ride. There's like various things. Blokes that have all got the same haircut, like sort of hipster haircuts, doing cars up, and then there are like spin-offs and stuff. So anything that's not got cars in, I'm in.
Okay.
But watching it again and knowing where it's going.
No.
Is it funny?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
No.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, I don't think
it's funny.
Is.
It's funny. Yes, she murdered her husband. Yes, he was going to kill her. Okay. All right. Put the murder and the attempted murder and the sexual corruption of his two young, significantly younger husbands and his younger lover. Put those things to one side, right? Put those things to one side. Put
and
the
all those
abuse
women
of the
at the
animals.
Vagabond's place.
Put the women. Put those to one side. Put the cruelty to the animals to one side. Put all of that to one side. Yes, it's very, very funny. Once you take that out of it, it's very funny.
Okay.
Paul has tweeted.
Out of it? Is there anything left?
Paul, a lot of mullets. Paul has tweeted, my mate Steve at university once told me he met Barry Manilow on the Circle Line. All right, Barry, he asked.
Is that a euphemism?
All right, now I believe this story. Listen, you see where it goes.
I don't.
All right, Barry, he asked. I'm not effing Barry, came the reply, and he journeyed in silence after that. Titting hell, he thought to himself. That wasn't Manilow, that was Rod Stewart. I believe that, because Rod Stewart gets the tube. I believe that.
Does he?
I believe that. Yeah, Rod Stewart gets the tube all the time. Oh, yeah. He was going off to, was it the Brits recently? And he went on the tube. He gets the tube all the time.
Wow, man of the people.
Yep. Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say.
Of course he gets the train.
Yes,
of course
the
he gets the
midnight
train. He goes to I'll
downtown
see you
train
tonight. Exactly. On the downtown train. Yes, you'll see me tonight on the downtown train, and I will not be Barry Manilow.
Here's the great thing about someone like Rod Stewart. If you're a crap singer when you're younger, it doesn't matter about getting old.
Oh, is he crap?
Yeah.
Wake up, Maggie. I got something to say to you.
Yeah, he's a terrible singer. But I said I enjoy listening to it. But it's a terrible singer.
I like Baby Jane. Am I allowed?
You can like whatever. Hey, Katherine, you can like whatever you want to like. This isn't some. I'm not Roberto Peroni. I'm not going to bully you into saying you like this, you don't like that. I'm a nice guy.
No, you're not him. You'll listen to me, rather than reading a script. But yeah, he's an interesting character, isn't he, old Roderick Stewart? I always thought when I was a kid, I thought he was Scottish. I was very surprised when he was a Cockney.
He pretends to be Scottish, and he wears tartan, and he supports Celtic, but he's from London. But him and his son are they beat up a bouncer, didn't they?
There was a fracas, wasn't there? I don't know what was found at the end of that, but
has that gone? I wonder if that's gone. That was going to go to the courts. But I like Rod. Of course, I like Rod Stewart. He's a sir. He phoned up Jeremy Vine once when Jeremy Vine was taking the pee out of his train set. Did you see that?
Yeah, I also like the fact that he's got an ongoing friendly feud with Elton John, whereby Elton John, what was it? Elton John outsells him and he gets pissed off about it. Didn't he shoot down Elton John's blimp?
Whoa.
That was in Elton John's autobiography. It was great. Wow. They call each other by women's names. They've got a friendly rivalry. No, they're great mates. It's fun.
I'm good friends.
I like Elton John. I would let Elton John be rude to me, I think.
I was at when I worked at Absolute Radio, I was at a concert that in the Union Chapel, really small little venue in London, lovely little venue, and Elton John was doing something for Absolute Radio. I don't quite know what the deal was, but he was doing a gig and so everyone from Absolute was there, and like loads of competition winners and stuff like that. And I remember saying to my boss, well, how long is the gig going to be? Because I need to get back for the show. And they said, well, it depends. If Elton's in a good mood, it could be an hour. If Elton's in a bad mood, it'll be 2 songs. And he ended up doing quite long, I think. It was just him and the piano, and it was incredible. But it started about 45 minutes late because apparently he was, upset about, I don't know, the toilet paper was hanging with the flappy bit at the back instead of the front, or something. And he was kicking off. I just think, I'll just tell him to F off. Just say, mate, are you going to do this or not? Because if you're not, I will go downstairs now and I will stand on the stage and I'll tell everyone you're being a tit, right? Or you could go and do your job. It's up to you. What's it going to be? What is it going to be? And I do think, and listen, I had a fleeting career in 2 fleeting careers in television, and even on that small scale, I had people around me that would protect me and would blow smoke up my ass, and you could see on that small scale, if it was magnified and if more drugs were involved, how easy it would be to become an absolute monster. And someone just needs to go, right, listen, not being funny, there's 500 people downstairs, they're waiting for you, you're 45 minutes late. Are you going to go and do your job, or do I have to go down there and tell them you're acting like a 9-year-old? Which is it going to be? Because I don't mind. I'll go and tell them. I don't mind, but you're going to look stupid. Which would you prefer?
Yeah.
And just pull them up.
I get the impression with him that David does that for him, and Bernie Taupin was always in that position to do that for him. But his most drug-addled, no one could have saved him from himself.
Oh, drug-addled, yeah. But now he's been sober for a very long time, and he's a dad. Come on, man. Come on, stop being a knob. No, we won't take any phone calls yet. We might do some calls straight to air for the last half an hour. But we will take your calls if you've ever met Barry Manilow or told Diana Ross to F off. 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative, weeknights from 10 with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Boyley, what have you got for us?
I've had something since last week that I've been meaning to bring up, but I didn't know what was the time to do it, but I'm going to do it now.
Do it.
This is from the New York Post, who, as you know, has a certain writing style that I don't think you can get in this country, even though we do have some cheeky chappies that write for the
They write in
Red
American.
Tops. Yeah.
You're an American newspaper.
Okay, so I'm going to read it in New York, if that's okay.
Goddamn New York Post. I wipe my ass with that piece of trash. I don't read that piece of trash. I go to the John, I take a dump, and I wipe my ass with that trash. Then I go out to Mitzi's and I have a schnitzel and wiener.
Wow, it's crazy that you've got that close. You're some kind of psychic, because this is totally about toilets and backsides. So
I knew it would be coming from you. You're a coprophile.
Oh, I'm not a coprophile. I'm not coprophobic. Let's put it that way. Okay. Cars aren't the only thing with rear detection technology anymore. Oh. Stanford researchers are working on a smart toilet that can identify the user's butt to help determine their health, and prospective poopers are clamoring to pop a squat.
You know what? I don't even know. I can't. I'm struggling to understand anything you're saying. A pop a squat.
Clamoring to pop a squat.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, warm me, you're about to do that. I had a mouthful of decaf cough then, Kath.
The whole point is to provide precise, individualized health feedback, so we needed to make sure the toilet could discern between users, says project leader Sanjeev Sam Gambhir, MD, PhD, in a press release.
Yeah.
The smart seat was first described in an article this week in the journal Nature Biomedical Engineering, or NBE. In accordance with the state-of-the-art toilet bowl is outfitted with a scanner that reads users' derrieres in what the press release dubs the polar opposite of facial recognition technology. The lever is also equipped with fingerprint scanners, however, as Gambia points out. These are fallible because a different user could flush the toilet. Oh my God, in my house it's always me flushing.
What?
As it turns out, your anal print is unique, says the proud holder
God.
of the Virginia and D.K. Ludwig Professorship for Clinical Investigation in Cancer Research. To further protect the pooper's privacy, the data will be stored on a cloud brown cloud.
Brown cloud, thank you, yes.
Where no one, not you or your doctor, will see the scan, says Gambia. Although the press release notes that to fully reap the benefits of the smart toilet, users must make their peace with a camera that scans their anus.
Camera that
A
scans
sentence
their
I didn't think I'd be saying when I woke up this morning.
Oh, jeez. Camera that scans their anus.
I mean, the New York Post really has outdone itself. Here we go.
Camera
Gambia
that
is not
scans
just
their
inventing
anus.
a patootie identifying potty for the fun of it, though. Patootie identifying potty. The toilet is fitted with technology that can detect a range of disease markers in stool and urine, including those of some cancers such as colorectal or urological cancers, per the press release. The data is then matched to the specific user via the rump recognizing technology, says Gambia. I bet he didn't use the term rump recognizing technology.
No, this is gonna. Here's the problem with this. This is gonna put people. This is gonna put people like Jackie Stallone out of work. All right, this is gonna kill her
You're
career.
talking about? I'll read your buttocks. Yeah,
When you do an impression like her and then you say that, it sounds like bollocks, not buttocks. So be very, very careful, Catherine, please.
Buttocks. Bend
There you go
over, let
again.
me read your buttocks. I'll tell you the future.
It doesn't sound like buttocks when you say it like that.
I told you the time when my eldest was very little. I told you this, didn't I? And I was wearing a dress and I bent over and I think it had split.
No,
and my daughter said, "Mummy, I can see your buttocks."
Oh, wow. I hope you gave her a sound thrashing after that.
Very low that day. Okay, so who am I now? Oh, yeah. The smart toilet also comes with urinalysis strip that can help identify 10 different disease-signifying biomarkers. Despite all the doohickeys, the cutting-edge crapper will be fairly easy to install.
Doohickeys.
It's
Cutting-edge
sort of like buying a bidet add-on that can be mounted right into your existing toilet, says Gambia, who envisions his invention becoming a fixture in home bathrooms. 21 subjects have already tested the smart drone, and the research team surveyed another 300 prospective toilet users, of which 52% said they were at least somewhat comfortable with the idea. Of course, Gambia admits the smart toilet is no substitute for diagnosis by a doctor, adding that data protection will be of paramount importance moving forward. While it's still early days, a cancer researcher maintains that the smart toilet is the perfect way to harness a source of data that is typically ignored and the user doesn't have to do anything different. Wow, really? He adds, everyone uses the bathroom, there's really no avoiding it, and that enhances its value as a disease-detecting device. The smart potty isn't the only state-of-the-art toilet tech on the horizon. In November, the University of Pennsylvania researchers devised a swanky Teflon John that prevents poop from sticking to the bowl. And this, my friends, is what humanity was concentrating on before this whole COVID thing took off.
Oh, COVID thing. What was that noise? Okay, was that noise?
Agreeing with you in a sassy fashion.
We've gone an hour and nearly an hour and 3/4 without calls, and I think that's great. So what we're going to do now is Catherine and I will continue to chat, but we will take calls straight to air. Sam, I'm going to need a little bit of help there. I'll whack the calls through, but you're going to need to hover over the dump button. Thank you very much, Catherine. That refers back to your last story. And do faders
Rude.
and what... very rude indeed. And what have you. When I give out the phone number, that means I'm done with that caller. Put their fader down. If you want to call up straight to air, Bank Holiday Monday, you'd be very, very welcome. 0344 499 1000. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Don't swear, don't be libelous. We will not call you back at this part of the show. There is a 7-second delay, so if you say anything that we don't want you to say, then... sorry, those squishies are repeating on me. Oh, gosh.
I know. The thing is, you've got to stop eating them, but you can't.
I can't. They're not even very nice, actually. There's only about 12 left. So
once you get over the initial... Yeah. Okay.
So we'll take your call straight to air. Let's have a quick break. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Very exciting news, Katherine. I have treated myself to some stuff. It's not things, it's stuff. I bought a modded Dreamcast games console that outputs in HDMI. But more importantly than that is that the disk drive has been replaced by a card reader. A card reader, and I've bought a memory card from a website called Etsy that has got every single Dreamcast game ever released and some that weren't released on it. So I now have sat at the foot of my television a Dreamcast and every single game and some that weren't released at my thing. And I set it up yesterday. It was one of the few things I did yesterday, and I set it up. And I got it working, and I was thrilled, and it was a bit of a problem, and I had to get in touch with the guy that sold it to me and said, it's not working. He said, this may have come loose in the post. You've got to press this in and click this, and it should do it. And it did it. And I sat there, and I was presented with about 380 games. And there were so many games that I was overwhelmed, and I turned it off. So that was a big old waste of money. It's not a waste of money. I'm going to play it. I'm going to look forward to playing it. But I couldn't just dive in willy-nilly. I haven't even got the... it's not energy. It's... I don't know what it is. Let's call it drive for the sake of something. I haven't even got the drive to sit down and play a video game. That seems like too much of a commitment to make.
No, I completely get it. I have found myself in the last few days choosing a film, and in the time it's taken me to go and get the film and take it out of its box, I've gone, do you know what? I can't be bothered. Yeah.
That's it's a really common phenomenon, and that people are struggling to focus and do things. The last two books I've read, one about it's like a list book about Paul McCartney, so it's lists, and one this badly written Manilow biography. They were easy to read because one was written badly and it didn't go into much detail, and one was lists. And we might get the guy that did the McCartney list book on the show. It's a decent little book, but to sit down and go, right, I'm going to read something that is well written and is detailed and requires thought. I couldn't do it.
It's that thing of seeing yourself still being interested in doing this thing, whatever it is that you're choosing to do, in 5-10 minutes time. And at this point I can't, because when I've got time to do it, maybe I should be doing something else that's more important, but I'm overwhelmed by all that stuff, so in the end I end up doing nothing. And the worst thing is I'm sitting on my phone, I'm flicking through the online papers, and none of it is giving me any kind of reassurance or making me feel like, okay, now I feel better. I'm not going to feel better, and I know it before I begin, but it just seems easier to do that than to actually commit to doing something else.
I haven't looked at any of the papers before we did this. I had a quick look at the Mail website, and it's all this, and it's all depressing. This. I don't watch the news. I don't read the papers. I must see if I can pop out tomorrow and get some milk and the sport. But the most news I see is on Twitter. As I look at Twitter and I click on the For You section. I click on and it says For You, and that's where the coronavirus stuff is, along with hashtag Chucklevision, Trump press conference, Kingsman was very lowbrow, and stuff like that. And that's kind of all I'm taking in. And as soon as I start seeing numbers, I just think, oh God, no, because anyway, you know. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We probably won't get many calls now because it's bank holiday. You tend not to get very many calls anyway, even though it's a strange bank holiday. Because we haven't taken calls for coming up to 2 hours, and that was our choice, and I stand by that. And you know, but it turns out people like hearing us chat. But if we do get calls, I will click on them and I will say something along the lines of, line 1, you're on the wireless.
Hello.
Hello, line 1.
Hi, Iain and Kath. It's Daniel calling. How you doing?
Hello, Daniel. What you got for us?
Daniel.
I read books.
Show off.
I read books, but often pick them up from charity places and stuff like that. And it surprised me that some books I read end up being films. And I don't pick up a book that's already been a film, if you know what I mean. But it's just like, by chance, I've read that, and now and then in the future, they've now made a film about it. So a book I picked up recently was The Book Thief. Well, I say recently, many years ago, actually. So
Did you steal it?
I don't know if you... no, I got it from a market, and I read it.
Did you?
And I thought, I really love that book. And about 6 years later, it got made into a film, and I ended up taking my daughter to see it. It was a very good book about Germany.
That was a Kate Winslet film,
World War.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember who was in it, but I remember it was about Germany in the Second World War from a girl.
Hang on, are you suggesting, Dan, that you have a special gift whereby when you buy books several years later, a significant percentage of the books that you read are turned into movies?
It would seem that way, but I think it's just coincidence. So another one, one other that I've read was a series of unfortunate events. I saw it in a bookshop, and on the blurb on the back of the book, it said, if you like stories with happy beginnings, adventures, and happy endings, put this book back.
Oh.
Thought, how strange. And then so I bought the books, because there's lots of books of that, and then later on it got made into a film with Jim Carrey.
Yes. Lemony Snicket.
So a book I've just read recently, which I can't say goes all the way on this, is a book I got from in the supermarkets. They have like a corner where you can swap
book
books.
Corner.
And
swap books.
I picked up this book. Yeah, I picked up this book called The Woman on the Train, and I've read it. It was a really good book, and I was at a service station just an hour or so ago, and I saw in their brand new books The Woman on the Train as a story on a CD-ROM or whatever, talking...
CD-ROM? What is this, 1996? Yes, an audio book. Yes, a media book, yes.
And,
right, hang on. Are you telling us, Dan, that The Woman on a Train is going to become a movie? Is this your big prediction?
I'll be surprised. You know what? It was a very good book, so, gosh, it could be.
Dan, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Katherine, I don't know if you've got Dan Wooten's details. If you have them cleaned and burned. But before you do, send on that information from our Dan from that Dan to our Dan that Woman on a Train is going to be a movie.
Okay. Exciting times.
Okay. Line.
Send.
2, you're on the wireless.
Good evening.
Good evening, line 2.
I hope you're both as well as you can be.
You know.
I'm going, that I'm mad already, Ian, and this last weekend I've been going madder. I've not slept one iota.
Oh, mate.
So I've been napping during the day and all the rest of it. But I'm ringing in about TV. I'm sick of Netflix at the moment, and I'm sick of Prime.
Yeah.
So I've gone to Walter Presents. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff on there.
Kath?
I've seen it on all 4. There's a lot of Walter, and I was thinking, who's this Walter, and why is he getting involved?
I know, it's... I don't understand. He presents some of the programmes before you start watching the episodes, but actually I don't know why there was any need for that. But I found a show that you both may like. It's called The Swingers.
What's that?
And it's...
Did we watch it, or am I thinking... Is this the one where they go... Oh, no, we watched one about dogging, didn't we, Katherine?
Yeah, we did. Secret. Was it Secret Life of Doggers or something?
Yeah. I don't like it. Can we go home now, please? But this is what dogging is.
He's not comfortable.
No, this is it is a sort of crime thing that's mixed in with sex and violence. Probably not one for the kids. So after they've gone to bed, I've watched one episode and I think it's got promise. And also, if it is likeable, there's 40 episodes to trawl through.
Oh God!
Good grief!
And it's on subtitles. I'm not sure. You don't like subtitles, Ian, I think you said before.
Why does it use this? Is the second? You're the second person to pull me up on that. I love subtitles. What is this I don't like? Of course I like subtitles.
He loves reading films.
You said once. Yes. Oh, well, try it out then.
I don't like... Is it English or American?
No, it's Belgium, and they speak Dutch, but there's English subtitles.
Mate, they don't...
Do they, or they speak Flemish?
I don't want to break it to you. I said they don't speak Dutch in Belgium. They speak Dutch in Daneland. So you've screwed up.
Well,
there,
I don't know
what
what language is. I probably did. But,
foreign.
Anyway,
foreign. They speak foreign.
Foreign, yes. But but anyway, God, it's so crazy.
I haven't got the focus. I tell you what, the few things I've been watching, as I say, a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine because it's okay, and they're 21 minutes 43 seconds long, so you can do an episode and it's fine. I've also been watching on the All 4 website. Tim and Eric's bedtime stories because they're about 12 minutes. But here's my recommendation, guys. The first episode is free. It's on the Adult Swim website. It's Tim and Eric, and it's their sitcom, and it's called Beef House. And it is, if you like Tim and Eric, it is ridiculous, it's stupid, it is dumb, it's really dumb, and it's so funny. So what's your music like? Well, it's kind of, like the Beach Boys, in the Kokomo era, and it's so dumb, and it's wonderful. So Beef House is my recommendation to the nation. Alistair, thank you. 03444991000. We'll be back in a minute. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Hey, we're nearly done, Boyley. We staggered through the show tonight. I miss hanging out with you. You're my best mate, and I miss you.
Yeah, and we've been quiet this weekend, haven't we? We've not really been our usual Bantosaurus Rex types.
I think we've both been struggling a bit the last few days, really, which is okay. That happens, but just what are you doing tomorrow?
Same.
Yeah, well, don't.
My paints are going to come. I'm hoping my paints are going to come, and I'm going to go to the supermarket at some point, and I'm really looking forward to that. No. I have found that my mood is also boosted by having done that and made sure that everyone's going to be able to eat, and we've got nice things in the fridge. That makes a difference. I start to get a little bit low as the supplies diminish. But yeah, I'm going to have to go in. I've got
a click and collect on Friday. I've got the boys coming Thursday for Thursday, Friday, and I've got some pizzas and ready meals for them. I haven't got anything. I'm not low. The freezer is well stocked, but the stuff I've got is crap. So I'll get some fresh vegetables on the click and collect. But I think I can do this whole thing without going inside a supermarket. I think I can. That's my aim, is to not go inside a supermarket. I don't want to know what it's like in there.
It's an eerie experience, but actually, at the time I go, I think everyone's already been. That's the thing, everyone's off work, so no one's leaving it till the time when I go.
Hey, we've got something. 0344 499 1000. By the way, call straight to air before Daryl comes on in about 15 minutes. We've got something to look forward to next year, and this is brilliant. There is something. There is going to be a big. wedding next year. Princess Beatrice said that she's going to have a really big wedding in 2021 to lift the spirits of the nation. So that is something really, really nice to look forward to, isn't it?
Well, it is if your name is Beatrice, but I'm not sure. Not sure. The time is. I don't know. I think it might be too soon.
Big royal wedding. Big old.
Is a dad
royal
going?
Wedding. He's looking after the creche. It's a big old royal wedding to raise our spirits. That's what we need.
That's not really, is it? I mean, very nice for them, and I don't want to rain on their parade or anything like that, but I also don't really want to witness it.
It's what we need. It's exactly what we're after. And this will cheer us up no end, Katherine. And my God, people like you, scumbags like me. Why don't you go and live in communist Russia? Why don't you go and live in Wuhan if you're so anti? What Princess Beatrice and what a royal wedding will do for this country? Why don't you go and lie down with Putin? Because I'm going to be there at this wedding. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Now England is talking now. I will be there. I will be cheering on Princess Beatrice and her to be her husband to be. Then it will be her husband. I will be there. I'm talking.
Wow, you keep cutting out because you're shouting.
To Wuhan and have it off with a bat. Oh, you go and do that because
Wow. Okay. Is everyone else getting this?
Will you be quiet, please? I'm doing this, all right? I'm talking now. This is the common man is talking now. The man on the Clapham omnibus is talking now. Britain.
Very common.
Great Britain is talking now. Great Britain. We'll be cheering on Princess Beatrice. The royal family. They're better than you will ever be, Boyle. Even Princess Beatrice is better than you will ever be. And even you had to, this is typical of talk radio, you had to ruin what was a beautiful, even my speech then, and it was a speech, even that would have made people feel happier and feel better, and you had to ruin it. You had to ruin it. Happy now?
I'm very chuffed for anyone who's in love. I don't necessarily know that we need to stand by and watch people who are very rich have a great party that we're not invited to, especially at a time of quite severe economic hardship.
Yeah, okay. All right, communist. All right, Gorbachev. All right, why don't you go back? You're the red mark on Gorbachev's head. You are. When you go back to the snow mines of Lenin, I'll carry on talking to my callers who are proud British. Line 2. You're proud British.
What do you want to make those eyes at me for?
Go away. No, it's not proud British. He's an ashamed drunk. 03444991000. Let's go to line 1. You're on the wireless, line 1.
I'll give you my shot.
Okay, goodbye. What was that? Disgusting. Trying to do a serious royal...
Very lowbrow.
Update, very lowbrow, which I don't have a problem with, actually. I'm a big fan of lowbrow. I don't know why anyone would think that I had a problem with that. I'm still making myself laugh with the what you doing tomorrow question. Because I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to wake up at 8, as I have been. I'm going to lie in bed until I can't lie in bed no more. I'm going to come down, feed the cats, make a cup of coffee, go back up to bed, probably fall asleep for a couple of hours. Then I'm going to get up, I'm going to lie on the sofa, and I'm going to think I should really be doing something. I'll have a doze on the sofa. I'll get up, I'll watch 5 minutes of David Babcock's Twitch stream. Then I think, I might go back to bed again. Then I will go to bed and I'll go to sleep, and I'll wake up at about 7, and then I'll have an Easter egg for my dinner again. That's my sad life.
It sounds like a pretty sweet life. You know, our dreams at the moment are the only places where we're free. I can't blame you if you wanted to go there.
Everyone's having weird old dreams, though. Everybody's having weird dreams. And I reckon they're saying, it's anxiety and it's lack of routine and it's fear. I don't think it's that. I think it's the coronavirus and the 5G. I don't think coronavirus is caused by 5G, but I think 5G is magnifying the coronavirus and mutating it. And that's what's giving us the dreams. And I think if only someone would stop listening to the MSM and do some real evidence, I think you will find that all of our dreams are linking up because of the 5G that is now invading our bloodstreams and giving us all blood cancer. But we're connected on the internet of our dreams, and that's probably a fact. And the mainstream media won't cover it. It takes brave souls on the fringes of journalism, like Eamon Holmes, to bring this kind of story to light. If only Eamon had a huge mainstream media mouthpiece, and we get the truth, but we just don't get the truth.
No, he's never going to be part of the MSM. Never.
No. Let's hover over that button, please, Sam. Let's go to line 1. Line 1, you're on the wireless.
I love you, baby, boy. To you, I love you, baby, in the phrase.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. What a time for my team viewer to go. Do you want team viewer, Kath?
What would it achieve?
It means you can see phone box.
All right.
Oh, it's a bit late now.
Was it not an offer? Well, you just...
Well, no, not now, because I don't know how you'd set. I don't know what your you'd need a login. Here's your project. Right. Here's your project tomorrow, young lady. And if you need any help, I think your husband is working from home at the moment, so I'm sure he can give you a little bit of help. I'm sure you can manage most of it yourself. You need to download a little program, a little computer program. It'll be online, be on the internet. It's called Team Viewer. Yeah, you need to download that. Sorry?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay. Well, you haven't because your internet's crap. And if you download that, and then you need to, then Sam can come on the microphone now and tell you how it works, because I have forgotten.
I'll give you a username and password, and you can log in.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate that.
That's it. Notice it's two guys helping you there. Two guys are helping you. Two guys, man. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger making love to two guys. Let's go to. It's quite weird having phone box on your computer. Let's go to line 1. You are on the wireless.
You.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. Well, I found a girl. Sorry, store.
344 499 1000 is the telephone. I didn't hear any of that. We should do more of these little straight to airs in the last half hour of the show because it's a real outlet for the frustration and the confusion and the fear and all of those things that we're all feeling now that cannot be and I'm being serious here, that cannot be expressed in words. I feel lousy, right? But I couldn't put it into words how exactly I'm feeling. I had a session with my therapist today, and I just really couldn't describe. I've been doing this stuff for years. I could not describe how I was feeling or why I was feeling this way. And so sometimes phoning up and making noises or playing a silly bit of music down the phone or, saying some random words, whatever, or phoning up and having an argument. Sometimes that feels to me like the perfect outlet for this confusion. And I certainly would recommend that in 50 years, 100 years' time, when school children are studying coronavirus and scientists are and governments are looking at it and lessons that can be learned, instead of listening to Julia's show or to LBC or 5 Live or any of those things, they should listen to our straight to air sections, because that is giving a much more naked and honest view of how people are feeling, more so than a news show.
Yeah, I think you're right. It gives more of an impression of the psyche, the unguarded psyche. Because those news programmes are only ever, obviously they have some fantastic callers and the content is wonderful, but you're only ever going to get one kind of caller, really, aren't you?
Yeah, bell cheese. Isn't it?
Oh, someone who's prepared to hold forth, someone who is so is convinced enough of their position that they feel obliged to share it with the class, that kid. When actually what you want is to hear what they're whispering about the back.
It's really interesting to note the rise in the conspiracy theorists, and that's because for the last 10 years or so, the phone-in radio has indulged them too much and given them too much credence. And giving people like Katie Hopkins and people like that shows that has amplified them, and Twitter has amplified them. So it's interesting to hear the rise of them, but also the rise in racism towards the Chinese. The Chinese are now the bad guys. And I had a great call at the weekend. Jim Davis on 5 Live, BBC London, 5 Live. I like Jim a lot. He's a really nice guy, and I think he's a really good broadcaster, and I think he's perfect. Nice and gentle and calming and reassuring. I think he's perfect for what we're going through now. And it was an old woman phoning up, 70s or 80s. And I can't really remember what her point was, but it was something along the lines of the government are allowing people to die. And she said, and I bet if you take those masks off some of those doctors and nurses, I bet you'll find Chinese people under there. And Jim went, I'm so sorry. Sorry, what was the relevance to that? And then she just ignored him. He asked her 2 or 3 times and she ignored him and went on. But the relevance being, she thinks that the Chinese are killing people and that the doctors and nurses are deliberately killing people to get the population down. I think that was the thrust of her argument. If you remove some of those masks, you'll find Chinese people under there. Let's go to line 1. Line 1, you're on the wireless. Probably the last call for us tonight.
Okay. Last time, there was to be a millionaire, got 10 rowdy contestants, and that's the way it is at 10:04. I'm Howard Hughes.
Okay, so do you know what? Actually, let's take. Well, I think we can squeeze
explain
in
what the
one more.
impression was.
I thought it was Chris Tarrant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last call of the night, so we've only got 35 seconds. Line 2, you're the last call of the show. Make it a great one.
The thing goes and the boom 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 boom. You done know, big shot. Yo, yeah. All right, fire in the booth. You get me? Man's not hot. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said
good night, Kath.
Man's not
good
hot.
night, everybody. Daryl's up next.
Talk Radio.